Are we live? Are we doing this thing? It is. It's dawn of the hunt time. Freaking dawn of the hunt time. I've been thinking about this all day and I've had to literally stop myself from thinking about builds. I read the patch notes this morning. I recorded a quick video which I'll put out later tomorrow. And now it's time to get into the nitty gritty. Let's have a look. Where did I get to with this? Accuracy, that was for the Amazon build. I wonder when we're going to get the PoB stuff. Is it updated? Yo. Velitas, how you doing, mate? Yeah, so today we are finally just going to be taking a look at builds. I've got 2 build ideas that I need to just explore. There's so much unknown stuff, so this is very much just a wild stab in the dark, which is kind of fun, but also scary if we're going to be doing SSF. So I basically just have to work out if I think I can make it work with SSF. And most of my builds are... I'm not used to playing SSF, so I'm usually way too ambitious. You've already got it sorted. What are you playing? Tell me. I need to know. I need some ideas. The problem is I just like to play what I think is going to be fun, not what I think is going to be great. Yeah, painful. I like it. Yo, Senor, how you doing? Yeah, Hex Blast Leech. Oh, it's funny you say that. I was looking at the same thing, actually. That was going to be my third option. I'd planned out... I think Chaos Dots, though, might be getting... Because we've seen a lot of Chaos Dots in... Let me finish this apple very quick. Yeah, because we've seen a lot of Chaos Dots in the footage. We've also seen Derange, which is that like intelligence stacking thing or whatever, right? Hey, cheers for the follow, Trog. Thank you, mate. I think maybe there's going to be some supports, some extra supports, and maybe some extra uniques and stuff that are going to be very good for Chaos Dots. You know, just like Essence, Drain, Contagion, that kind of thing, you know? Guns, how's it going, mate? Cheers for the follow, appreciate it. So, I've started playing around on max roll because it's just a little bit easier to do everything on here than in PoB and like visualize it all. There's definitely still potentials for Chaos Sphere. For the Chaos Sphere. The Chaos Sphere, is that what you're calling it? Yo, John, how you doing, mate? Yeah, so, okay, I'm thinking... This is basically like 2.5 builds. So, one of the ideas is elemental poison damage, basically. So, using Plague Finger... let's chuck Plague Finger in here. I actually think Plague Finger is like... I think this archetype might be like slightly slept on. And I think it just got overlooked by heralds and stuff. So either... And it got a load of buffs. It got loads of buffs in the patch. And it was already strong. I played this like... I played this up to like, you know, endgame content. But in the bosses, like T3, T4 bosses, it was heralds, like, well, not heralds, but the Bell and Hands of Wisdom that were like carrying it. So I need to just figure out how to try and make it a bit more robust. And I'm thinking about playing the Chonk. Okay, so it's either Chonk or Amazon on this one. Oh, wicked guns! Thank you, mate. I appreciate it. I've got a video coming out tomorrow. I haven't been making too much because we haven't. It feels like everyone's just making the same video, right? Which is like just covering the news and stuff. But ultimately, like we've all seen that. We're all kind of like absorbing it. I felt like I couldn't really add too much. However, I've got a video coming out tomorrow about SSF. And just a few comments about SSF. And if anyone is like new to SSF or they're thinking about playing it, I think it might be worth trying in PoE 2 now. Whereas I couldn't recommend it like the first patch. So yeah, I go over all that in the video and why I think it might be good now. Or not good. Good's an overstatement. It might be passable. But yeah, so the idea here is we know that this node is now, that's been changed to all damage leeches, I think. Let's have a look. Let's zoom in so you guys can see it's a bit easier. What is it? Acolyte. Acolyte of Chola. The Ravenous Dance Ascendancy is mana leech recovers based on other damage types as well as physical damage. Okay? So I have no idea how good this is actually going to be, but we're going to give it a go and maybe just see what we can get. Your starters still going Amazon crit bleed. Yeah, I think that's going to be super strong. Like Amazon crit bleed. I think you're laughing. Herald of Blood, the Hema Globe, the Hema Vials support or whatever. I think you're going to be so solid, especially with that rake skill and the way that it like aggravates bleeds, and if you just keep using that and consuming it with the Hema Vial stuff, I think it's going to be Hema Crystals. Thank you. I think it's going to be really, really strong. And then Herald of Blood, obviously, I'm like so stoked that that made it into the game. One day, as soon as they put swords in, I'm going to make like a blood mage. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try and figure out how to make like a blood mage, vampire, knight character or something. And so I'm very glad for my future self that we got Herald of Blood. It's very, very cool. Has 60% aggravate. Chance to aggravate is that. Yeah, that rake skill seems really, really cool. So yeah, so we know now that basically we're getting like leech from everything, right? And that leech we can apply to our energy shield. Thankfully, I still don't think losing all your spirit is worth the extra defensive layer, unfortunately. I'd love it to be, and maybe someone will prove me wrong. You're getting a lot more darkness now. And this breach stuff is just still so faffy. There is a chance that late game we get rid of, we don't need the chaos, the additional chaos res. This is going to make gearing so much easier in SSF. This is what I'm thinking. This is really beneficial. And then obviously this is super strong. There's multiple reasons why this is really strong, and I'll go into it in the idea of the build basically soon. Yeah, I've seen the Ziggy's part 1. I don't know if he's released part 2 yet or not though. Have you guys seen that? Let me know if he has. Where are we? Yeah, so right, so the idea P2 isn't up, okay. Yeah, we'll get to it. The idea is basically power charge. Well, actually, we're going to do 3 charge stacking. Hopefully, we're not stacking, but we're gonna be generating 3 charges. And oh, have I undone something here? Oh, there it is. Yeah. This is too many points. We're gonna have to figure out. This is what I need to do today. Is like figure out how we're gonna shave down points of this, and then we're gonna explore a flame spear Smith of Katava, and look at doing something like that. They actually managed to get the shield buffs, like the tower shield buffs or the regular shield buffs, into the patch, which is exciting because now you get stun and daze and all that good stuff. So we're going to be looking at doing some kind of ignite fire damage, exploding the explosion spears. I think that seems really fun, especially because you can just, from a playstyle, I'm imagining we can scale the AoE and the damage enough with that like Spear of Solaris thing, and then maybe in the weapon swap use Hammer of the Gods on like a 2-hand mace. We might have these like 2 really big ignite cooldowns. And then the rest of it, we're just running through maps, throwing our spear in the ground, maybe doing some leap slam stuff. I don't know. We'll look into it. Hey, old Greg, how you doing, mate? My title's from a previous stream. Is that right? I'm using Hammer of the Gods is gone. What? I missed that entirely. Oh, it's not gone. It's not gone. Yeah, I don't know. So that's on Twitch. I don't know why it hasn't updated the Twitch. Let me just... I'll do that now, guys. Bear with me. Bear with me. No, not Discord. Okay. Stream manager. Oh god, it's all minimized. How am I gonna do it? Edit stream info. Here we go. PoE 2 build Theorycrafting for Dawn of the Sun. Thank you for letting me know, Bellatus. Appreciate that. PoE 2. Okay, let's build. All right, cool. Yeah, this is very much a guess. Okay, so the Hammer of the Gods changed. Yes, I forgot about this. It now requires 20 glory, built up by heavy stunning enemies. Okay, so if we can still figure out a way to build stun, then we might get this. The quality now impacts radius. This might not even be worse, especially because we're using the shield. And if that contributes to a heavy stun, potentially, it does build up days, and then we'll have a war cry, which will also build up days, potentially. We'll look into that. We're going to look into it for sure. Why is it not viable for big hit ailments? Does it not have ailment damage anymore or something? Because I know they were talking about this as a problem in the Q&A. Hey, Guitar, how you doing, mate? Yeah. So I remember in the Q&A they were talking about like how hit ailment, are they happy with how hits and ailments are working with stuff like Hammer of the Gods? But I don't remember them saying they'd fixed it. I remember them saying they needed to look at it. And this seems like the only change. So unless, you know, we see unless I'm missing something, we haven't got any other references. And yeah, so if that is the case and we're still getting the big ignites off, then I think that'll be good. But even if we don't have that, the Solaris big nuke thing, whatever that is, we'll have to see what that does. But it'll obviously be damaging, I imagine, or have a pretty big effect. And then yeah, using exploding shields, exploding spears. So that's one idea. And then I just want to finish off this idea. This is the Falling Thunder. Falling Thunder poison build. So this went from 25% to 50% more damage per power charge, and this was already super strong. Like I basically never had to deal with a rare ever, and I know a lot of builds could do that, but a lot of those builds got nerfed, and this one didn't. So I'm kind of hopeful this might be. This was like for a while I was thinking, oh, maybe I might dodge the nerf hammer with this when everything else gets brought down. So yeah, and I'll explain why I think it's actually even stronger. It's going to be even stronger. If this is all pretty contingent on if Mana Leech actually feels good, if we can get enough regen from Mana Leech. So yeah, defense-wise, we're going to be going Energy Shield, Evasion. Pretty classic. None of that stuff really got hit that we were using. Like, we weren't using Grim Feast. Grim Feast obviously would have been really nice, but, you know, that's not a thing anymore. There is an alternate version of this that we could do on the Amazon using the infusions. And I'll explain why that is. But we're actually going to be transitioning this more over to lightning. And that's the thing that I need to look at now. So the idea for the skills, I'm going to have to play around with it because I just didn't do lightning skills. Before we were triggering Herald of Ice off of Tempest Flurry. Obviously, Combat Frenzy's been nerfed a little bit to essentially like 2.5 times the duration or double. I think 2.5 times the duration. So yeah. We're gonna have to see. Hammer of the Gods is not viable anymore to trigger big hit ailments because it takes too much time to heavy stun. It takes too much time to heavy stun. Does it? Does it though? Is that a given? We will see. We'll look into it. Either way, we'll figure it out. Whether it's Hammer of the Gods or not, then we'll figure it out. Let's have a look at zoom this in a bit. So I'm thinking what we're going to be doing is Herald of Plague. Basically, the idea is we use Plague Fingers to use all of our elemental damage, all of our added chaos damage, any added damage from any source becomes, like, contributes to the poison. And we just do massive poisons using Falling Thunder. So Falling Thunder is essentially now, because we can get 8 power charges, we can actually get more. But it's probably going to be 8 will be what we end up with. Because when we consume... when we use the skill, we have this node which gives us an extra, so that's 7 plus that is the 8. We get, just from the buff in the patch notes, we get an additional 200% more damage on top of, like, I think where's the skill? It's absolutely insane. The more damage multi. So look. What is it? 100% more plus 50% per power charge. So that's 500% more damage. And we fire an incredible amount of projectiles, which I didn't even try this last league, and I don't know why I didn't try this, but using Ricochet, because we're going to be, it was because I wasn't stacking quite as many power charges, because it became just better to do Hand of Wisdom and just stack some attributes. But we're going to be trying to use Ricochet, and I think if we've got 8 times 3, 24 projectiles, actually more than that, because that's additional projectiles. So we've got, like, anyway, say 24 projectiles. We're going to be getting about 12 of them ricochet, potentially, in the right circumstances. So I need to work out how this works. If this definitely works for Falling Thunder. It should do, because they are projectiles. We might have to invest in a little bit of projectile speed. But the projectiles go super far anyway, so I think we're going to be alright. Let's have a look. Dreamcore pointed out in the video that Ralakesh is coming. Yes, so this is the thing. I am not factoring in any new potential uniques. Obviously, because I don't know what they could be. But I'll tell you how we're going to generate all of our charges. So luckily, because we're poison, we can use corrosion to armor break, and we'll armor break very easily. Because of the amount of poison damage we'll do. And then break endurance, which will give us our endurance charges. We'll be using siphoning strike to electrocute, and so that will pull a power charge, and because of the electrocution, we'll be giving us frenzy charges from combat frenzy. And then also we have the option of using lingering illusion. We can also do something where we do like a cast on shock. We could do a cast on shock. I forget the name of the skill all the time. The critical weakness skill. But anyway, we can do a cast on shock, critical weakness, and sniper's mark for additional frenzy charges. And then the idea is we're getting essentially all 3 buffs from charge infusion. We're going to need a lot of spirit to do this. I need to work out the actual spirit cost. Eye of Winter, thank you. Since you can't do the Herald interaction, send me any ideas. It got a nerf as an applicator. Okay, I'll have to look into the Eye of Winter change, because I remember thinking I'm not banking on that either. We're gonna have enough crit anyway. Eye of Winter now gains 75% of damage. The skill no longer incorrectly states to the... What's the nerf then to that? The application. Oh, okay, wicked. Send me a link to the video. Well, let me know, just like TLDR me for now, and then I can watch the video when I'm like dialing it in and fine tuning everything. But yeah, we're gonna figure out. I think we've got plenty of options to gain all our charges. And the endurance charge is going to be a big thing, obviously, because it's going to scale our energy shield and our evasion. What else? And then I think from gearing point of view, it's just going to be like breach rings and just try get loads of lightning breach rings, basically. Just stack a load of lightning damage. We'll need a lot of... This is obviously like GG gear. Like, I always do this. I just put like the best possible thing that I can imagine, and then I just try get as close to that. Oh, the cast on shock thing. Yeah. So Voltaic Mark. What does Voltaic Mark do? 2% more chance to shock. Marks the target, making them susceptible. So what's the idea here? The Nova. What does the Nova do? When the marked target dies, a lightning Nova erupts from their corpse. Okay. And this gives them 50% chance to shock. Shock has 30% increased effect. Okay, so we're just massively increasing our shock effect there. Okay. So yeah, we could do like a cast on shock voltaic mark, maybe, and then try and proliferate that through that. So sort of self-proliferate. Is that the idea? Hey Alex, how you doing, mate? Welcome. Yeah. As soon as I see the vid, I'll understand. I tell you what, I'll do the vid now. Let's do it. Also, if anyone wants to join the Discord, join the Discord. I think I have a stream bot putting the link in, but the link is in all my video descriptions. You can just sign up there. Let's have a look. Where did you send me it? Did you DM me it? Or have you sent me it on Twitch? Oh, part 2's out. Okay, wicked. We're gonna watch that then, 100%. Let's duplicate this and bearing a single tablet. Is that playing? No, I'll get this audio set up as well, so we're getting the audio through that. Ziggy D. Hunters Part 1, Hunters Part 2. Wicked. Alright, let's watch this, because there's certain things like Thunderous Leap that like potentially could be good for the other spear build. I'm just very curious. Awesome. Actually, before we watch this, I just want to jump on Velitus's video, because I want to find out. Okay. Cast on shock voltaic mark. Clear the screen without Herald of Ice. So what is happening here? I think my screen is like over sharpening stuff potentially. Maybe it's just the record. Okay. Intro. Oh, you guys can't hear this, can you? I've just realized. Let me get the audio added. I need to just create a new audio. Add source. Audio Chrome. Okay. Google Chrome. Okay.
Which is kind of boring. Every build is just...
Sorry guys, that was very loud, wasn't it?
So naturally, I was expecting it to get nerfed a little bit with the announcement on Sunday. Not only that, but freezing is not that easy for me without 3 dragons, so it'd be nice to ditch that requirement. And so this is a quick video on what I came up with. It's cast on shock voltaic mark. So voltaic mark, what is that?
Okay.
So the way it works is that you mark a target, and you'll increase your shock chance and shock effect against that target, and then it creates a nova on death, and that's what we care about. But it costs mana and it needs to be cast, so I need to automate it with cast on shock. So the current setup that I've been playing around with, and I'm not even certain if this is correct, is cast on shock voltaic mark with inspiration for mana cost, mag effect for the AoE, and then impetus and energy retention just to generate more cast on shocks with more energy.
Great, that will make sense.
And then I'm shocking with explosive shot, and it has coursing current and conduction just to generate more shocks. And this is just shock proliferation. And then you have spreading shocks, which is even more shock proliferation. And so I'm dropping Herald of Ice and Herald of Ash and picking up cost on shock. So you need 30 extra spirit. And then if you can get another 30 spirit, you can use Overwhelming Presence. And this thing owns for shocking and stunning. And then the final piece is mana gain on kill. This thing costs a lot of mana, so you need mana gain on kill. I get it on my crossbow, but it's also available on sapphire jewels.
Okay, mana gain on
So
kill.
what do
So
you get?
yeah, the
You get
cool
these
thing is
tasty
we're going to be
chain
recovering a
explosions
ton of
without having to
mana
mess around
just
with
from
freeze,
leech.
and without having to risk getting Herald of Ice nerfed on you.
We're going to be
So
getting a
once
hell
you
of a
get
lot
that
of mana from
first
leech,
cost
so
on shock,
mana's
once
not a
the
problem.
Voltaic Mark goes out, those Voltaic Mark Novas, those explosions, they will fully recharge cost on shock and just cost a bunch of marks, and it just pops off with enough
Yeah,
density.
only Deadeye didn't get
It's not
enough.
as good as Herald of Ice, but it's pretty easy to pull off, and I think you can fit it into a lot of different builds. And one major upside is the Herald of Thunder uptime. So as you can see at the top of the screen, Herald of Thunder is always up, and it hits really hard, so it helps your damage a lot. And I say this all the time, but I'm going to say it one more time. This may not be the best setup. Maybe you guys can figure out something way better than what I got going on here. And here's a demo of me trying it without Herald of Thunder. It's kind of weird.
The video for some reason is like really sharp on my screen.
All of mana, but it does a lot more marks.
I hope it's not coming across too much on yours.
Maybe you can make it work. And so what I'm looking at trying next,
I think PoE does slightly over sharpen as well.
Or Herald of Ice, or 3 dragons, or a combination of all of those things with the cost on shock setup. But that's not happening until I get some gear equipped to my character.
Yeah, we can look into this, and that's actually perfect. Because the one thing that I've been a little bit uncertain about on this is like how we do, how we get the cast on shock, our shock proliferation going. And this is one of the amazing interactions about this, like poison and lightning in particular. One is I think we're going to be able to get access to electrocute. I need to figure this out because this is the first time I'll be trying to introduce electrocute. But if we can get electrocute, that's amazing. But the poison lightning thing is obviously the shock effect will affect the poison. It's a poison scalar as well. So it will affect the hit, which will affect the magnitude of the poison. Which is just, like, obviously very, very powerful if we can get enough shock. So, yeah. I'm very excited. Like, I'm pretty sure... I was so set on Flame Spear, on, like, the Flame Spear thing. Actually, do you know what? I can't say just yet, because until we deep dive into that, that might become the thing that I find most exciting. And I might just have to play 2 builds. We are going to do this group SSF thing, so maybe I'll have one for one and one for the other. Okay, cast on shock. And then energy retention, ingenuity. Is it ingenuity? No, not ingenuity. Impetus? Yeah. And then we want to add in voltaic. Is this going to not let me... Oh, it is. Voltaic. And then, yeah, we can figure out the supports, the rest of the supports. And so, yeah, obviously, like, the idea here, guys, is, like, we just get to max, power charges, we drop Falling Thunder. I've anointed on here, I was looking at the chain stuff, but I have anointed, where is it? The additional poison. I'm not 100% sure because we're going for like one big hit. This might not be the play. We've already got one additional poison up here. But the thing that might be really powerful about this is if you get a few enemies around a rare, this is why it melts rares. Because you get these massive poisons and then obviously they proliferate as soon as they die from Herald of Plague. I think that's how it works. I actually don't know. I don't have any proof that that is the case. Yeah. So we should get Herald of Plague prolifs from it all, from all of the damage. Whether that's from Voltaic Mark or anything. The really important, the thing that I just don't know is whether or not this is the anoint I want, or we want something like, you were saying, like the spreading shocks, right? Is I just don't know if when a Herald... So my poison limit is 3 now, passively. When a monster with a Herald dies with a poison, does it add that poison on top, or does it overwrite just one poison? Essentially, can Herald of Plague proliferate multiple poisons from different enemies onto the enemies next to them? That's the question. Maybe it says in the thing. Spread the most damaging poison. So this is the thing though, right? So say you've got 3 enemies around a rare, and it spreads each of their most damaging poisons, and I have a 3 poison limit. It should work, I think. It looks like it works because when it works, I'm telling you, like there's no monster in the game that I've found that doesn't just like instantly melt. Um, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It feels very good when it does work. And if you get like bosses with ads, they're gone. So yeah, and the reason obviously this all works very well is because of the mechanical function of Herald of Plague. So it spreads the most damaging poison. All of our lightning damage, which obviously has huge range, can poison, and therefore we're just fishing. It's kind of like having lucky. We're just fishing for these like the most powerful poisons that we apply. So yeah, I need to like work out all these, and yeah, I need to work out all the supports and stuff, and we'll figure that out in game as we go through the build, and it'll change depending on gear and all that stuff. But yeah, things like this where it's like, you know, more critical hit chance against enemies that are on full life. That's kind of the benefit of this is we go through maps, we build up some charges, and then as soon as we see a rare pack from like the edge of the screen, we just fire our we fire our Falling Thunder, and they're all on full life obviously, so they all just like melt. We get a guaranteed crit. We stack a ton of critical damage bonus. That's kind of why we path down here is almost just for this node. We get 100% critical damage bonus against enemies that are on full life, which is obviously super strong. Thank you, Waste, for the follow, mate. Appreciate it. Welcome. So the only thing, we lose quite a few points with like having to path to get like poison, and we have to path to get crit, and then we've also got to get mana leech, or increased mana leech amount. We've currently got about 140% increased mana leech. I don't know if we get any actually from. Oh yeah, we get some from here as well. So we've got a little, let's say 150%, roughly. So we can't use that suffix on the glove slot, unfortunately. I don't think there's a enchant for it either. No, we'd probably try to go for +1 frenzy. These should be really cheap. On SSF, if for the group SSF, if we decide to like play this build as the SSF build, then we'll just have to hope that they're really common on certain exiles or something, and we'll just keep trying to get that +1 on these. I don't know in terms of the rage on hit. There's a new talisman, isn't there, of rage on hit? I think that's probably going to be the best play because it's all of our skills are classed as melee skills. Yeah, or most of them at least. We should get quite a bit of bonus from having rage on hit, and we'll be hitting pretty often. We'll be hitting a lot of enemies, so yeah, we should be able to keep that up. Because weirdly, Storm Wave is a melee attack. It's a wave, not a projectile. So yeah, we're going to be like in a good spot there. I think what the setup's going to be, I've kind of put Gathering Storm in there because I'll play around with it and see if it feels good. The Shocking Ground effect and stuff like that might be good. Siphoning Strike, we'll see about that if I can get the kind of electrocute stuff working with Neural Overload. It might be a case of we Storm Wave, we just, you know, we continually Storm Wave. We've got the cast on Shock with Voltaic Mark, potentially. That should do probably most of our clear. We'll be poisoning with that, but then we'll also be building up Shock. And then every now and then, we might then jump in and electrocute the enemy, take off the Shock and steal some power charges if we need them. But I think we're going to have plenty of power charges coming from things like Lingering Illusion. So yeah, we just need to figure out what's this. So this is, I think these are all, I know it's a 60 spirit. Ah, damn. Okay, we'll have to look into, so we've got 60, 90, 120, 150. Yeah, we're way over on our spirit. So we just need to figure out what we want to drop, basically. I think Charge Infusion is going to be really, really powerful for us. That's going to be a hard one to drop. They're kind of all going to be pretty hard to drop, actually. Ironically, Combat Frenzy might actually be the thing. Ah, yeah, it's on the Deadeye, isn't it? The dual mark thing. Interesting. Yeah, so yeah, the hardest thing we're gonna have to deal with is spirit. We can get obviously up to like 160 spirit just off our amulet. Let's say like the realistic chance of getting 50 spirit on it's gonna be pretty low, especially if we go SSF. So say we could get like another 45 on that, and then probably on the body armor as well. But then we're kind of we're sort of starting to eat into like our affixes a little bit. I think we want to go, we'll probably take this node. So we probably just want to go pure evasion. I don't know actually, do you know what? It's open because it's open to either. That's just a good node either way, I think. But let's just say we went evasion, energy shield. We would probably want a Wayfarers. Devout. Oh, they've actually added them in. They've got all the names in. It's cool that the guys are like going through in real time, because earlier when I looked at this, they didn't actually have these names in. So yeah, the Devout Garb. I'm so glad they've made that change. I couldn't stand the advanced and expert stuff, Falling Thunder on the Huntress, maybe Finesse for accuracy from Finesse for accuracy. What is finesse? We might have to get spirit on our... Yeah. Probably... Flat. It's a passive node. I'm going to have a look at that. Probably want Chaos Res. Just put Dexterity on it and some... Yeah. Some res. Yeah, so that would give us plenty of spirit for everything. We're just gonna have to figure out as we play through what spirit, what spirit reservations we need. But I'm almost certain we're gonna want the 2 heralds. It'll be interesting to see actually whether or not we even want Herald of Thunder. I imagine we will. I'd be surprised if we didn't. How much is the multiplier on it? Yeah, 286. That's a lot. That is a lot. Yeah. It can't inflict shock. But do people then put neural overload on... Wait there. How do you build electrocute? What is it that builds electrocute? I'm slightly confused. Electrocute is an ailment that interrupts and prevents them performing. Yeah. And lasts 5 seconds by default. Jesus. Because electrocute got a buff as well, right? Where magic rare and unique monsters' electrocute threshold was reduced or primed for electrocute threshold. Only lightning damage from hits with specific skills or effects. So I need to figure out. Finesse, is that it there? Unexpected. Gain accuracy even equal to your strength. Accuracy rating increase equal to your intelligence. So you're thinking of going... I mean, I guess you're going to need a certain amount. If you're going to go energy shield hybrid, you're going to need a certain amount of intelligence. And just generally anyway for monk stuff. So that makes sense, waste. I mean, it's not a bad node, right? I think that, yeah, I think Amazon could be really good for Falling Thunder. Because I was looking at, like, as well, I was looking at, like, spear stuff. And if you could generate enough, I think the Storm Spear or Lightning Spear, whatever it is, the one that's like a projectile that splits, I think that could be kind of interesting if you were generating a lot of charges. So you're consuming, your frenzy charges with it, and you're with like barrage, for example, as well. You could use barrage. because the thing about that is it will then throw 3 of them that will then split into multiple more projectiles, I think. I don't know. Yeah, I think there's definitely something there that's really interesting. And obviously the accuracy stuff is just super strong. Like, it's just generically strong. And it's also like a really predictable way to build. You know, like you just scaling dex and accuracy, and you're going to be fine. I know they've nerfed this a bit. Even like this node down here as well, Falcon Dive. Did that get a nerf? Falcon Dive. Yeah, to 250, but still, like, that's going to be worth taking, right? You're going to have like 10,000 accuracy or more. So you're going to, yeah, that's going to be like such a good value node. Okay, electrocution. This is what I want to figure out is the only way I've found to search gem stuff is electro. Yeah, shock nova, vartaxic grenade. Oh, so sweet. I just need the electrocute support. Yeah. Okay, that's wicked. Because I think we're going to have so many sources of lightning damage that we should be able to electrocute as well as shock. Don't you think? Like if we're, for example, say we're using Stormwave, because we're not really using Stormwave to deal with like super tanky rares. That's what Falling Thunder's for. So Stormwave is kind of like more of an applicator kind of thing. And we could just put electrocute on there, maybe. I just don't know if we're going to get enough shock. So maybe that's where... Oh, crap. Can we not just put it on Herald of Thunder? Yeah, I don't know why I've got all these shock things on Herald of Thunder. Because we'd put them on the cast on shock. And then we can just make Herald of... No, I don't know if actually that's not going to work, is it? Because if it can't shock... See, these are the questions that I don't know. So, because Herald of Thunder can't shock, does that mean it can't electrocute? Or does electrocute kind of happen first, like the conversion from shock into electrocute? This is like where I just start Googling stuff. Can Herald of Thunder electrocute PoE 2? Yeah, I don't want to use those gloves though. I can't afford to use those gloves. Do you guys know this? Is this like... Does... can electrocute work on Herald of Thunder? Oh, I do like Snoobay's videos.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video.
Videos.
It's Snoo, and today we're going to be talking about a very overpowered mechanic, one that's definitely sliding under the radar, the elemental ailment electrocute, or electrocuting. And I don't have anything going on, no flicker strikes, no charge staff, nothing. I turned off my cast on freezes, no Herald of Ice active. You can see that basically the damage of hold on my weapon, for example.
Yeah, so any lightning damage. Cheers, Blade. I appreciate you jumping in. So this is what I just wasn't sure because Herald of Thunder says it can't shock, and then Electrocution says it converts it to shock. So wait, let's get rid of all these because it's stupid that these are on here. I might leave this on Herald of Thunder because I think it might be really good cleanup, especially because of poison. So if you imagine we've like chucked a load of poisons and then we basically run through the mobs and let them die, and then this will just be zapping and just like hopefully getting that last killing blow. So we're just recovering 4% of our energy shield all the time off of trash. Okay, let's try. So yeah, the question is, does electrocute... They can't inflict shock, but that's fine. Oh yeah, it does. It should work then. Hey, Warplux, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Mate, if this works, this is nice, really nice. It's just whether or not the electrocution build-up's going to be enough. Neural overload. Supported skills electrocute primed enemies on hit. So maybe that's then... That then goes in as well. Can those two work together? Nearby needs to be a mark for hitting marks any with the supported skills. Yeah, looks like. Yeah. Looks like that'll work. Sweet. On killing a shocked enemy with supported skills. So this is the problem. If this is going to consume... Oh no, it won't. It doesn't consume the shock, right? No, it just builds up. Oh, okay, this might be perfect. This might be the perfect setup. Now just want to boost the damage, so more build up. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've got Conk Effect. I don't think we need Conk Effect for any of our other skills, so I think that's going to be perfect. Because we just want it to be finishing off, like, individual mobs, ideally. We're not too worried about that being our clear, I don't think. Especially now from what Velitas was saying with his Voltaxic Mark thing. Where is that video, by the way? I need to give it a like. And this has helped me. This has helped. I was writing it like I've spent too much time on LinkedIn, writing like a business person. Clear. Oh wait, there. I'm going to clear. There we go. Yeah, I'm still a bit worried about breaches. Oh, this is one of the other things that I wanted to put in the little corner, because I really want to play spears. Everyone wants to play spears, obviously. But I'm kind of okay with, like, I really want to make Acolyte work as well. And kind of keep refining this Lightning Plague Finger build style. And Wave of Frost. So for those of you that missed it, Wave of Frost got a massive increase to its freeze build-up. From, like, just an insane... It's already, like, 1.5 times stronger. Like 30-40% stronger at level 1. So... with that, we can then freeze, and potentially, if we want to, we can then... I don't know if these nodes have been nerfed or not, but this is just, like, really good value damage. And we need to find a way to get that node as well, potentially. But yeah, so we might be able to get the ignore elemental resistances, which means we don't have to go into pen. Because if we use... What I was thinking was... that new embitter support that converts all added damage... from any added damage sources into cold, that new support gem that they showed off a while ago, we can use that because of the Acolyte. If we're attacking enough, we're going to be getting like 25, 50, 100% increased damage gained as cold for that one skill, and that should be enough to freeze, I think, combined with Wave of Frost. So we might even, just chuck that skill, that one into Wave of Frost here at the end. And then, like, we don't have to worry about it adding chaos damage. It's just going to add, like, additional cold damage, which will be a huge cold damage nuke. It's already, it's like, it's 156 base, which isn't tons, but the freeze effect of that is going to be like 560% more of that, plus all of this other stuff, plus 100% added damage, etc., potentially. So, What adds sounds like a fun mechanic to add to my game? Flow. Are you, Vel? Is this like a reference back to my first ever YouTube video, which was the what was it? The Martialist. When I did the first Ascendancy design for PoE 2, and it was the Martialist. Oh, cool, Wave. Go take a look at that video maybe, because I come up with like a flow mechanic for yeah, that Ascendancy had something called flow, and it was like this to encourage, you know, consistent attacking and weaving and all that stuff. Oh, your game is called Flow. Your game's called Flow. Is this right? Yeah, that should be enough, I think. I think that Embitter support, I think it's called Embitter, something like that, will be basically like on average like 50% more damage or whatever from that. Plus we might get sources from elsewhere of added damage. Like I'm debating picking this up for the increased chance to shock. It's very efficient. It's like 5% more damage and 45% shock chance. I would love to maybe come up here. Let's add a variant. Let's duplicate this and call this more shock, less shock. Because we might need to scale our shock and stuff. Because like this started initially as kind of like a dual elemental thing, but now it's going really heavily into lightning. One, because it obviously scales all of our damage. I guess that's the main one. But two, obviously we're using Falling Thunder. And I like the fact that electrocution got a little buff. It'd be interesting to use it as a defensive mechanic. Nope. Actual game, no mechanic that I'm going to add. Okay. So you're going to add a mechanic to the game called Flow. Do you want to tell us more about the game, Vel? Or is it a secret? I'm very curious. As you know, like I absolutely love game design. I fully plan on... I keep doing this. I keep clicking something accidentally, clearly. I have been designing my own game, actually, in the background for a while. Can't really talk about it because it doesn't really exist in any sense right now. But yeah, I'm all ears, man. All ears. I need to work out if we need these nodes. I don't know if we've... The knockback is actually going to be really nice, potentially, with Stormwave. If we're going with Stormwave, and it's this, like, obviously, sort of attack from a distance thing. So much mana, but we're going to generate so much mana, hopefully. So, what I was saying about the mana is, if we... Oh, sorry, guys. Zooming in a bit much. If we just take these two... ignore this one. So we can get up to 70% like damage as mana. So that gives us 14. We can't get the roll on our gloves, obviously, unfortunately. We get 14 there, and then we get 150% increase. So that'll be 32 plus 39. 39% of damage leached as mana. I think that's going to be fine. There might be... Yeah, and we've got the attack, the mana cost attack reduction. So I think we're going to be fine. I think we're going to be fine, because a lot of this is going to be very expensive, mana-wise. Like all this, like especially if we start triggering. Yeah, going to get spicy. So we probably want to then have is it conduction? Yeah, more shock chance is probably the way, and then shock. Lasting shock. No, we don't need that. What's the other shock, Vel, that you add? The other shock support? What was it? What was it? Fiery Death. Fiery Death. I wonder if... I'm really excited to get into this this fire spear stuff, and just because I've not tried to scale fire either. I didn't play any of that stuff in the first league. Let's have a look. Okay, Veil, still secretive. Okay, everyone, don't. This is secret. Hush, hush, hush. But basically, it will allow you to slow down the world when you've reached the flow state, which helps with some of the stats like melee action time, but enemies can also reach flow state. To anyone not in the flow state, it will appear as if they're moving a... Mate! That is potentially one of the coolest... I think that might be one of the coolest combat mechanics I've ever heard of. I'm not even just like blowing smoke up your ass. Like, if it was just, oh, you speed up, because the way almost every game would do that is like, oh, you just speed up, right? But the idea that to you, it looks like everyone's slowing down. I have no idea how you do that if this is like a multiplayer thing, from like a server side point of view. I don't know how that would work. Maybe it's a lot simpler. I'm not a server, a back-end engineer, but oh yeah, single player game, absolutely fine then. Wicked. Very, very cool. Yeah, the idea that everyone slows down. It's also just way cooler because it's actually like much more immersive. Like I remember I had a really bad car crash about 6-7 years ago now. And the car, like the car I was in, like just started like barrel rolling. Just like I think we barrel rolled like 3 or 4 times down like the middle of this like highway, essentially down this like dual carriageway. And I remember it was like one of the... It was the clearest example I've ever had of like time slowing down. And it's crazy. I can really remember it. I can remember like seeing everything happening in super slow-mo. And so it is like a real experience, obviously. It's much more immersive and like realistic. That you wouldn't speed up, everyone would slow down. I guess like super hot or something, but that's wicked, man. Really, really cool. Yeah. Yeah, mate, if it is a secret, then maybe I'd love to hear more about it. So just like DM me on Discord anytime you want to talk about it, because I'm happy to sign an NDA or anything. It'd be cool to talk about because I'm like working on some stuff as well. That would be very, very cool. Cast on shock, cast on shock, cast on shock. I don't think we're probably gonna go for like a blink. I don't think we're gonna go for like a weapon swap blink setup. What we might do is go for like a like a spear. Oops. Like something off cooldown. Like if the way that Solaris works is just on a cooldown, we might just like go for that, or just some long cooldown thing. I don't know. So I'm really curious to see what people do here, because maybe there's some interesting uniques. We might get uniques to do with mana leech still that would really that could really bring this alive and make it even better than it already looks. I've been playing PoE since beta, since I think about 13 years, 12, 13 years now, since PoE 1's like beta period. So yeah, I dabbled. I was kind of on and off like around beta, and yeah, and then I've just kind of come into the game, come out of it. That's most of my adult life. Like I was probably 18 when 19, I think, when I first come across the game, which is actually just like really cool to think about. Yeah. It's just I can't. It's Don't worry, I'm not gonna get emotional, but it's like I think sometimes like you have that experience like with gaming, because it's like kind of a frowned upon hobby, and you spend so much time in stuff, and you're like, what have you gained from it, and all this stuff. Like, and I've had that with different games. Like I played a lot of Hon and Dota and stuff, and I feel very different about PoE. I feel like PoE is like, I don't know. It feels like every hour has been an hour well spent, especially like seeing the company grow and how they've evolved and continued to push themselves, and even like through this phase over the last like year has just been like painful to kind of watch, you know, and think everyone's kind of been doubting GGG and the new management, and yeah, it's been like, and I just think back to like all the different ups and downs that the game's been through the years as well, and I'm like, I think maybe that's why it's a lot easier for me to have faith, because I've seen them since then, you know. So yeah, you started in 2014 as well, yeah, so you know, you're there. Yeah, exactly, right? Like there's a lot worse vices than playing PoE. I think weirdly it trains like a part of your brain. You know, people that like work in jobs where they have to like do quick math and stuff, and it just keeps that part of their brain really tight. Like they can always like their like reasoning and math ability is always quite strong. I feel like there's something like that with PoE, where it keeps your brain, you know, around like, I don't know if you guys get this, but I get some wild brain fog around League launch time, around this time. Because I'm using this muscle like so much of like trying, you know, you're trying to like factor the nebulous that is PoE into your brain, and you just keep going through stuff in cycles. Like, okay, yeah, so, but then if I generate power charges this way, then I can use that unique, but then that reduces my resistance, so I have to compensate. And you're doing this like weird mental math constantly. Which is why tools like this I think are super helpful, and why I wanted to like jump on with you guys tonight, because I think it's important just to like, you know, I hope you guys are doing something like this of just getting it out of your head. Because I don't know about you, but yeah, like Hollow, you're saying, right, it's relatable. It's like I sometimes can't sleep. Like it's not like, not to like full insomnia, but I sometimes like struggle to get more than like 4 or 5 hours sleep a couple of days before launch. I think partly because I'm excited, but partly because my brain just won't turn off. It's like, right, yeah, cast on shock, but then if we do that, and then, oh no, they just nerfed that, so then if we do this, and it's like this perpetual thing. I have to like actually take myself for walks and stuff, you know. I think as I've become more aware of it, it's not as much of a bad thing anymore. But there's definitely a period for like, I think a couple of years over the last few years where I was like, this isn't healthy. I'd like feel really tired all the time. And then I wouldn't enjoy League launches as much, you know. So yeah, anyway. The cool thing is we can then use a buckler, potentially. We could potentially use a buckler if we were going to do this. That's not a buckler. That's not a buckler. Where is it? But where is it? Oh, yeah, there we go. Keep clicking export. Yeah, anyway, so I'm really not too worried about like any of the rest of the items. Maybe we get some really cool stuff in, you know, like that triple oh my god, what was it? The coming calamity. That triple herald body armor. How much dexterity did that have on it? So look. What was it? It was in this video, I think. Uniques. New uniques. So this shield is what's kind of going to make...
With Chernobog's pillar.
This is what's going to make the flaming spear feel really good, I think. And doing it over on the smith. Getting loads of block chance. And getting like, you know, 70%. Extra fire damage.
It grants you a large amount of fire damage based on your block chance.
And then I was thinking maybe we could use something like Thunderous Leap or some kind of like melee attack that is a slam and doing some kind of aftershocky stuff. I don't know. We'll figure out with Infernal Cry.
The coming calamity.
Yeah, so
to
this
a true
thing.
master of the element.
No, it's just not enough evasion on it for it to be... It's like super glass cannon-y, very powerful, but... Look at the all-res on it as well. This is a nice piece of armor. This feels like something that will be really good on the Amazon. We might have to look at this for the Amazon version of this, because I'm going to make a Amazon version of this. I think this is good enough. I feel like I just need to, I'm just going to, I'm just going to try and change a couple of these bits. We want that consuming thing. That duration node is too strong. Let's get rid of all of this. And then we might be able to allocate consuming a shock. Do we consume any shocks? Yeah, but I think we're going to be applying so many shocks. I don't think that's a good node. That's good, but it's not that good. Like 7% more damage potentially. 30%, a bit more actually. I don't... That is obviously quite nice. Lightning exposure is going to be a thing we're definitely going to want to figure out how to do. Say we just went with this, right? We can... I'll tell you what we can do. We can go there. Intelligence. And then we can get rid of these two nodes. And then we get that one back and these two. Again, we're over on points, but we can always just drop some crit nodes. Like there's some crit multi here that we can drop. We can probably drop this whole poison wheel as well. We might even want to get more frenzy charges. And we might actually want to swap that poison wheel out for frenzy charges. Hello, Adolescent. How you doing, mate? Aren't nodes in the tree changing too? Yes. So the nodes in the tree will be changing. We're just going to have to go off what we know, unfortunately. And if it all changes loads, maybe some of it will be good, some of it will be bad. We're trying to focus on an archetype here that I think most of the nerfs have been to like the Stormweaver in terms of like the shock stacking stuff and spark, and like they've been very targeted. So I'd be surprised if they nerfed like, you know, poison. I don't think poison is like a archetype that they're looking to nerf anytime soon. And I think the lightning stuff on the tree, I can't imagine them nerfing, so fingers crossed. This is like the more shock version, which is nice. We might want to electrocute. We got any of... I was potentially looking at this. That is a super strong node. Because that doesn't say... This is hard to read because... Is that while they're electrocuted? Because the way I would read that is any enemy that you have electrocuted. I don't know, you could read that either way. Even if we read it as the less favorable option, it could still be powerful. And if we get enough crit, if we're happy with our crit, and we don't need this extra like base crit chance, we could take all of this off and then come here. And now all of a sudden we've got another 2 frenzy charges, which if we are building up plenty of frenzy charges, but we've got all that electrocute as well. And if we didn't want those extra frenzy charges, we don't need it. We get all this electrocute as well. So we could be electrocuting like a bad man. I've been looking. So this is another thing which is currently debatable. Because then also if we're here, then we probably want to come down here and get this dual node as well to cap our poison chance. Because we've lost that dual there. Interesting. Going for lucky lightning damage anoint. Yes. I hadn't even thought about that. Why had I not thought about that? Is it because it's on non-crits? Or is it on crit? Oh my god. Okay, yeah, screw that node then. We're not going to anoint that. Well, the problem is if we're doing this SSF, there's absolutely no chance we're getting this. What is it? It's 2 isolations. So I don't know. Maybe they've made isolations more common. Maybe our group is just incredibly lucky. It might be nerfed as the same as Frost. I think Freeze was nerfed. I didn't see anything for Electrocute in the patch notes. Electro. Ah, yeah, so we got the combat nerf. Ah! Oh, it is! Electrocute now builds up roughly 44% slower. Damn it, I missed that. But they're primed for electrocution at a 10% lower threshold. I don't know, I got a feeling we're going to be able to build it up enough. If we can't, we can't, and then we just drop it and transition out. And we go from a tree that is more like electrocution focused over to a tree that is more damage focused. Why does that keep doing that? Okay. Yeah, we can go down here and get all this electrocution stuff, or we can go elsewhere. Yeah, we might be dropping this then, I think, because we have like this is a pretty reasonable. What's that? 1 isolation, disgust and paranoia. It's not super reasonable. The isolation's pretty brutal. We'll have to find a different anoint for whilst we're leveling. But yeah, because the thing is, subterfuge mask is incredibly powerful. I think I had like a 410 ES, 400 and something ES ES helm. So I got 800 evasion rating off of my. So I don't know if this node's gonna get nerfed or not. I don't think it did. No. Well, not that we've seen. Obviously, all the changes aren't reflected in the patch notes, so we'll have to wait and see. Bleeds are going to be strong. Yeah, bleeds are like, I think you're playing bleed, you're going to have a good time because the clear now is going to be so strong with the hema things, hema crystals, and I did remember the hema crystals and the Herald of Blood. So it's going to be. Oh, I think that's great. Yeah. I think we're going to have to go with the. Ultimately, if we get super stacked and start farming loads and loads of delirium, we'll grab this. That's so scary to try and like plan for that. You just can't plan for it, right? So yeah, it's all looking good. So the question is, do we go at Series Disdain? Because even though it has been nerfed, it's like less than half as good as it was. We get a nice chunk of mana, which is kind of good, just so we have a buffer. But the bypass might be really nice for us. Because it's just like 10% less damage taken, effectively. So I don't want to go CI this time round. We don't need to because we're an Acolyte. If we're playing Acolyte. So that means then that, you know, potentially if we don't go at Zeri, we can grab Subterfuge Mask here. And then, you know, we've got like another 800 evasion. Which might mean that going acrobatics is actually worth it. Even, I think it's 75% less evasion rating on acrobatics now. It might be worth it. With the amount of... Yeah, we're getting a hell of a lot. It's like all these crit nodes here. Do I need all those crit nodes? I'm not entirely convinced. Because ultimately, we don't need to be critting all the time with our main skill. The only skill we need to be critting all the time with is Falling Thunder. That's our big damage skill. And in terms of rares and clear, we're going to be And even with bosses, like at some bosses, especially if they've got ads, not pinnacles, this isn't, but we could no, I don't want to be respecking. We get the 100% more chance to crit. So we only need 50% crit, which is fine. We're going to be able to do that, I'm sure. By the way, nice UI videos of the remaster UI and theory nodes. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Yeah, I love making them. I've been working on some other stuff. I'm working on this like crafting video in the background. I think me and Alcohol kind of talked on and off about it, and we're gonna see how this all plans out, how this all pays out. We didn't know this was before the changes that talked about, like the recombinator changes and stuff. But I would love to see veiled mods coming back, and I think there's a pretty cool way of how they could do it that would be, I think, so good for the game. But that's just my opinion. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing more videos like that, mate. Cheers. I appreciate the compliment. Yeah, Falling Thunder, Huntress. What new ascendancy skill are you thinking of, Adolescent? What's Relentless Vindicator? Oh, okay, yeah, that's cheap. It's a cheap one. Yeah, there's so many. Like another one that I think might be really good is Trick Shot, potentially. Obviously it's not cheap, but you know, it's like all of these are kind of competing. I think ultimately you're right though. Lucky lightning damage is probably the best. I didn't even think about that. I forget that's even a node. I think because when I looked at it in the first place, it was so expensive. I thought, well, that's just no point even looking at it. Like even a node like this might be like really good as an anoint, even though it's only, you know, it's not too many points off. It's enough points to maybe not go for it. We're super point starved. I'm very greedy. Check out the skill, the Empower one. It has 500% attack damage when you consume a charge. Ah, this is the... do you have any idea about the reliquary chest stuff? I saw a video where someone talked about how they would save a fire flower for it, but I didn't get it. Never played. Save a fire flower. What? Is a fire flower's a unique item? I don't know. So the way it works is you just drop keys and then you get random uniques, basically. Hey, Solissimus, how you doing, mate? Yeah, so the way that the reliquary stuff, from my understanding, is it's just as simple as you drop a key, you go to the reliquary, you open it up, and it gives you a random unique that's got shine, you know, that's been polished, basically. That's kind of it. You can only get boss uniques from the boss ones, and that is that. Okay, let me have a look at this video then. Part 2. Let's watch this. We're going to watch this part 2 of the hunt of the spear skills from Ziggy D. Ziggy D's just put this up recently. And then we'll check out the we'll check out the Falling Thunder stuff and or the Thunderous Leap and all that sort of stuff. I don't know why they said they would save keys till someone dropped a fire flower. Yeah, so maybe there's more going on with this that I don't understand. Is this something to do with... Okay, Celestimus, nice one. Cheers for popping by. I think it was... Stay for the numbers, respect. Yeah, Rue's concept video. I've seen Rue's concept video, and it's really good. But it's one of those things where he's way more. I'm not comparing myself to Rue at all. He's like playing 5-dimensional chess, and I'm over here playing checkers. But that build is so powerful in theory, that I just wouldn't enjoy playing it. I know this sounds like so weird, but I really don't like broken builds, because unless I've like figured it out and it's some weird niche thing, I get really bored really quickly if you can dominate the content too easily. I find that's why I didn't play like any of the, like I didn't play Dual Heralds, I didn't play Deadeye, I didn't play Spark, I didn't play Pillar of the Gods. I didn't play any of that stuff. I kind of just gave up on the game by the time all that stuff kind of like I'd done what I wanted to do, because I just can't stand playing. It feels like playing a game with cheats on. And I always look at it and think, well, would GGG want, like, and this isn't me saying like, oh, I couldn't do anything that GGG wouldn't want. But it's more like, I think, is this the vision the developers had for the game? If it's like way beyond, if I can certainly say like, no, they didn't want us like running around the map at 200 miles an hour, like killing bosses at pinnacles in 1 second. I just think I don't want to play that, because one, it'll get nerfed, two, it ruins the content for me. Like, I'm very much in the camp, I know this is like a bit of a divisive topic at the minute, but I'm very much in the camp of slow us down, make us weak, like, let us figure it out, and then like actually make combat like interesting. I really like that kind of stuff. So, yeah, Rue is content. Yeah, Rue's a genius. I was listening to him and I was just like, the way like he can put this stuff together, and he just consistently does it. There's just some people that like really know what they're doing with this game, and it's cool to watch. Yeah, you like builds that make you lose calories while playing. Yeah, exactly. Which is why I'm thinking I might play a Smith of Katava, spear build. How you doing, Sammy? How's it going, mate? Good to see you. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. We're just figuring out what we're going to be league starting. So we've got this concept for the like a poison falling thunder thing with quarterstaffs, and maybe like a spear in the offhand or something. So I just want to figure out, we're going to watch the Ziggy video and see what the later spear skills have got in store. Let's do it. That Solaris spear. I need to find the numbers on that.
G'day folks, ZD here. Welcome back to part 2 of my hands-on look at the Huntress and Spear skills. If you missed part 1, it's linked in the description, so check it out first. Let's talk about the Amazon Ascendancy before we jump back into the skills. Let's take a look at some of the features here that I had a chance to have hands-on with this particular class. I took the Elemental Infusion.
This is what I want to understand. I need to understand if Elemental Infusion uses... When it uses all 3 infusions at the same time, does all of that damage stack? So is it giving you like 3 explosions for 600% weapon damage? Because if that's the case, then it's going to be really hard not to just take this poison concept and instead of using Falling Thunder, just use like Elemental Infusion with Falling Thunder, or like, because Falling Thunder is a projectile skill as well, you could take the node after and then have a chance to refund the infusions. I don't know. I just don't know how, like, if that works, then I just think it's, the whole game is like broke. You're doing 1800%. Yeah, you're doing 1800% attack damage, and it's like repeatable.
The Critical Strikes one in Act 3, both of which are going to be very popular choices, I think, and I'll share my experiences with them both. So, the Elemental Infusion grants you the skill Infuse Weapon, which causes you to gain 2 stacks of an infusion whenever you consume charges. Power charges give cold infusions, endurance, fire infusions, and frenzy, lightning infusions. Whenever you make a projectile attack, an infusion stack is used to add an extra, moderately sized explosion when the projectile lands at its final destination. For my throw and spear skills, this was pretty consistently where they stuck into the ground. You'll want to keep this particular... when an infusion stack is used to add an extra, moderately sized explosion when the projectile lands at its final destination. For my throw...
What does that mean? Because it doesn't say anything about that in the skill.
Explosion when the projectile lands at its final destination.
When the projectile lands, he might just be talking about spear skills, because that was his experience of it. If you've got a projectile that pierces through multiple enemies, does it then explode along the whole chain, or per enemy it hits, or
For my thrown spear skills,
yeah, exactly, consumes charges, yeah. And we can just do that through charge infusion.
this was pretty consistently where they stuck into the ground. You'll want to keep this particular aspect in mind, that infusion's explosion isn't on hit. If you pierce and so on, it's going to be where the projectile ends up. So if you're using it with a bow or something, then you might find yourself shooting into
Well, you just answered that
It's
question.
going to be where the and that infusion's explosion isn't on hit. If you pierce and so on, it's going to be where the projectile ends up. So if you're using it with a bow or something, then you might find yourself shooting into walls if you have full piercing. So you'll need to consider whether it's a good choice for your skills or not. They deal attack damage scaling off your weapon with some pretty good base damage numbers. Previews showing over 600% at level 20, and since it's a character skill, it just levels and gains sockets with your character level, which is always super convenient. for
Gotta
something
be
like this,
nerfed.
especially for
There's
league
no
starting. I was
way.
using a mixture of parry and disengage, sniper's mark for single target,
There's no way, because
and combat
maybe you'll
frenzy
talk
to
about it.
produce
I'll
frenzy
stop pausing.
charges, and I was consuming them with explosive spear and storm lance primarily. That ended up being the build that I settled into. Towards the end of my run, this kept a pretty steady stream of lightning infusions coming my way. It felt quite good, but earlier on in the run when I first got infused weapon, I didn't link any supports to it, and I wasn't really generating that many charges so frequently, so at the time, I kind of thought it was unimpactful and bad. It was just like a small extra pop on an already very explosive and flashy spear skill that I was using, so it was kind of hard to actually notice it doing anything. But later on I started using supports with it, and that obviously made a big difference. And the more frequent frenzy charges did mean that I had an almost constant supply of infusion, and then I started to notice it was doing a lot more. You can get a clearer look at what it looks like here in this testing that I'm doing with the basic spear throw skill. It's pretty solid at level 50-ish around here, with just like 3 somewhat random supports that I chucked onto it. It's a little bit bass guitar-ish, I think. It's going to be kind of happening in the background behind all of your other
Bass
skill effects,
guitar-ish.
but it's going to be that sort of thing that you probably only notice if you uninspect the node and stopped using it. So because you get 2 infusions per frenzy charge, and because they stack, you can feasibly get infusions pretty constantly during gameplay. This means the node
So they
infused
do
avatar
stack.
behind it is something you can take or leave depending on how your setup consumes and generates infusion to try and get
Whoa.
yourself full uptime, which is probably going to be the goal for most
This
builds.
is
Possibly not every
crazy.
build will actually need this second notable, which is great. I feel like a lot of the time these are either mandatory or terrible, but this actually feels like it might be optional here, depending on your setup. In the end, I was using the bullseye support for extra accuracy, since it's an attack, so that works, and that was converted to a decent amount of crit chance with the critical strike ascendancy we'll talk about in a moment. That was giving me around 50% chance with no real crit scaling at this level, and this also worked well with like long shot support to lower the accuracy penalty at longer ranges and give more damage to the infusion explosions. I was also using Innovate here for a chance to give me the global lightning damage while clearing, which was
cool.
up pretty often in dense areas, thanks to using exclusive
Yeah,
frenzy
the
charges
crossbow
and therefore
stuff that
lightning
Rue's
infusions.
talking about, and I
These
saw
were
someone else talking
basically
about it. It's just
supports
insane
that I had
then.
lying around that weren't like good enough for my main skills. I had better supports on those already, and those were full up. So that just kind of ended up here.
Someone was talking about
But even
Choir of
just with
Storms
those
as well. I
random
think it was
eclectic
Forefinger.
collection, that worked quite well. But there are likely way better options that you can explore. Overall, I really like Infusion, and it'll be a solid clear speed boost, and potentially even single target enhancement if you're getting Frenzy or pre-stacking the infusions before bosses. So the Critical Strike notable is certainly standing out to people as a core Amazon passive, and I'm here to say, yep, I think it's
Okay, we're
be a
gonna look into
fundamental
this
part of
then.
why you
We're gonna
pick
look
the
into this.
Ascendancy.
We're gonna
Thanks
look
for
into this.
attending my TED talk. Normally,
Yeah,
accuracy.
the critical strike
Next up,
stuff is
Blood
just
Hunt
like
is a pretty wicked melee
obviously-
attack that lunges
obviously a win. Primal Strikes. What is
in
okay?
really solid to me.
Primal Strikes. I originally had a section here on Primal Strikes, but the skill was redesigned, so it's being cut. Oh, okay, cool. So it's been redesigned. Interesting. So is that like Wild Strike? I'm assuming. Whoa.
Next up, Blood Hunt is a pretty wicked melee attack that lunges you at a target. It interacts with the blood loss mechanic I covered in the last video for Herald of Blood. So if the target has suffered blood loss, it's consumed, and 25% of that total bleed damage is dealt as a non-scalable physical damage explosion. The area of effect of the explosion also scales up to 100% larger, depending on the amount of blood loss that they've suffered. This is a pretty great payoff skill, I think, here, and
That's pretty
kind
cool.
of a big deal for bleed builds to have something like this. It's a way to effectively actually
Yeah.
trigger the bleed again for an instant damage spike. And the fact
That's
that
really
they built it
cool.
around this blood loss mechanic instead of like triggering an existing bleed to speed it up or something, which is usually how these sorts of things are done. This is, I think, way better. It's the sum total of
Yeah,
bleeds
between
you've
that,
done to the
like,
target
Herald of
up to that
Blood,
point, that as this like separate blood
that's
loss
gonna be
mechanic is
really,
so
really
good.
cool.
It'll be a great skill to have on your bleed build when like an enemy or pack needs to die, like right now. I need to get rid of them, because you can pop it and not have to wait for that dot, which is obviously often a weakness of damage over time builds, that they can be in danger while they wait for something to die. You can speed
Yeah,
things
yeah,
along.
it's
And
fine
of
if the
course, it's
game
obviously
slows
really
down, I think.
important for helping single target in bleed setups too. I did
Hopefully.
start a bleed focused second run, but I didn't have enough time to get to a high level on that. I only got a brief look at it. I didn't get to test it in a real scenario.
Velitus, you're working on
Mechanics,
you're working on
looks
skills.
very
Interesting. Do you know what? You need to message me about this, because I'm really curious how you're doing it. Like, what's your background? Is it like programming or art, or like are you doing everything? Yeah. Message me.
Pay off for bleed and doesn't need to actually cause bleeds itself. You can use the blood loss support to scale its damage nicely. The new blood in the eyes support as well should be pretty interesting.
What is that? Blood in the eyes. Hobble equal to 15% of physical hit damage dealt by support skills. So I don't know what hobble is yet. Hobble to hobble bleeding enemies. Do we know what hobble is yet? I haven't seen that.
Option here on Amazon's, because
Maybe he's going to show
hobble
us.
as a mechanic lowers evasion, effectively allowing you
God,
to
I hate
scale
this when you're watching something and then yeah,
your crit
speak
chance
too
further.
soon.
If
Lowers their evasion by a specified amount. They're hobbled for 12 seconds. Hobble from players lowers.
If the enemy's evasion is lower, your effective hit chance is higher, and thus your crit is higher with that node. So that'd be pretty nice for boosting your damage
does
for your
hobbled
next
do, though?
bleed, and then the next blood hunt.
Oh, okay.
And don't
Okay.
forget the new rip and tear supports as well, which seem like a good pairing with this, if you're using it primarily for clearing at least.
50% chance from on bleeding enemies to occur twice. Whoa.
Give you some big life.
Yeah,
recovery
bleed's
skills.
looking super
Now,
cool.
just a quick note that Glacial
Super cool.
Lance wasn't working in the build that I played. It's an Ice Thrown Spear skill, but it's got the wrong icon and it wasn't really playable, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. I can't give you any look at that one. The only other ice skill is Fangs of Frost, and having that freeze is really useful for combat frenzies, for generating frenzy charges, so having a ranged option to do that could be really good, but we'll have to wait and see what the skill does. I know nothing about it. Sniper's Mark obviously isn't a new skill, but it's the other option on gem level 7 skills here, and it's quite relevant as a way to generate frenzy charges on bosses on demand without needing to parry. So that's pretty helpful for your damage output. You drop a mark on them, causing the next crit you deal to get some extra decent bonus damage to critical hit damage, which is either good or not that important, depending on the skill you're doing. If you just hit them with a small hit and consume that, you're not really going to get much damage in the end. But more importantly, really, is the fact that the mark is consumed when you crit the target to give you a frenzy charge, so that you can do your empowered spear throw and generate infusions and all of that good stuff. The Perfusion support gives you a chance at an extra charge too, so it's obviously a good pairing here. And Sniper's Mark, like all marks, is pretty mana hungry, so you
Thunderous
very
Leap, this was the
satisfying
one
movement skill akin
I'm
to Leap
curious
Slam.
about.
It doesn't seem to be quite as fast as Leap Slam, and I couldn't really animation cancel the landing like you can with it to speed it up, but still overall, combined with dodge roll and disengage, this skill gives you a ton of mobility, and of course, the most important feature, the ability to jump over gaps and ledges.
Whoa.
Apart from lightning conversion, this skill does one other important thing. It's a detonator. So, you can use it to jump on your Storm Lancers, Explosive Spears, and the Rapid Assault Stuck Spears to explode them. And that is super satisfying. Because it's a slam too, you can use
Right there,
to jump on your Storm Lancers, Explosive Spears, and the Rapid Assault Stuck Spears to explode them. And that is super satisfying.
That's
Because
pretty
it's
cool.
a slam too, you can use Fist of War for 20% more damage in AoE, which makes it even more satisfying to leap in and blow up a bunch of spears. Really, it's just such a nice thing that they threw into this archetype to be able to, you know, you've thrown those ranged spears, they're just sitting there, instead of waiting for them to explode, you jump in and do melee damage, and that explodes them, and that feels very epic. I think every spear build will use this either for mobility,
so rippy
blowing
though.
up thrown
That is
spears,
so
even bleed
rippy.
builds as a way to detonate those stuck spearheads, and there's just so much utility for there's skills like this too, like Shocking Leap for shocked ground,
Yeah.
Good ground to slow
Imagine it
enemies, or
slows, you're
Holy
right.
Descent for consecrated ground to heal you. I personally will never not use this skill on a spear build. So Bloodhound's Mark is a new mark skill for, you guessed it,
Ooh.
bleed builds, pretty obvious. This one's pretty different. It causes the marked target to gain heavy stun build-up from blood loss. I don't think we've ever seen a damage over time contributes to stun build-up effect like this before, and that's pretty cool for bossing or for dealing with nasty rares. The second part of the skill is that when the marked target dies or gets
Titan
heavy
build.
stunned, there's a bleed explosion, much like Herald of Blood or Blood Hunt, with a little bit of a twist. The explosion deals its own base physical damage as an attack in an area, and it doesn't scale with your weapon. It gains up to 100% more area and damage based on specifically how much heavy stun has been caused by blood loss specifically. So the more you're focused on bleeds, the chunkier it's going to be.
What is it?
Fortunately,
How's he doing
Bloodhound's
that?
Mark
Is that
doesn't
mark on
compete
here?
with
Hey,
Blood Hunt
Awala,
and
how you
Herald of
doing,
Blood,
mate?
though, in that it doesn't consume the blood loss. That's really key here. Only the mark itself is consumed.
just
but
watching the
damage from
Ziggy
Bloodhound's
video.
Mark is its own independent thing. That means it can stack with those other effects. The explosion seems
Oh my
like
God. This is where, like, what I mean about, we don't know all the supports, and so it's like, there's over 100 coming, right? They can't all be for spears. Well, we know they're not, but yeah, it's like it just opens up so many interesting options, and then with the uniques as well, we're finally like this version of the game is going to be potentially, you know, like 30 times more viable builds than the previous version, just because of the different, you know, combinations, and then the next patch will probably be the same. So it's just, yeah, it's a really exciting, like. It's just, I'm so glad that we're finally in, like, you know, patch 2, and we're all kind of over the shock of patch 1.
to me a bit of a bonus aspect of it. You can scale it with supports and things like that, but I think
Well, so I'm going to be, I don't know, this is what we're figuring out today. We're looking at either Amazon or the Acolyte of Chayula doing elemental poison, yeah, essentially like elemental poison scaling. Or we're going to be looking at like a Flame Ignite build over on the Smith of Katava, which we're going to go
the
into
real allure
once
of
we've
this
sort of
gem
taken
is
a look at
enabling
this.
stun on a build that's primarily focused on damage over time, something that you wouldn't normally get. And getting a heavy stun is, of course, how you can make use of the Rupture support to aggravate bleeds, which is essential for bleed DPS. After all, a heavy stun target is sitting still and not moving around, so they're not taking that bonus damage, so you'd kind of be like doing yourself a disservice there, but thankfully that support exists. I think Rupture would be amazing on Bloodhound Marks itself, since it will hit the heavy stunned enemy with the explosion, so it should work. We'd need to make it just double sure with a bit of testing, but that seems like it would work. The final new level 9 gem here is Tame Beast. Pretty significant one for a lot of
Tame
different
Beast
builds
thing's
potentially
crazy.
here. This technically isn't a spear skill, just kind of themed to the Huntress, but anyone can use it. It has some awesome utility potential, as it lets you choose a rare beast-type monster and basically put it in a Pokeball. The gem you cut itself is actually Tame Beast, which gives you a skill to hinder a beast. Then if you kill that hindered beast, the gem is converted into a companion gem, with that beast permanently locked inside it. These stored beasts can be stashed and swapped around whenever you want, but there is one unique restriction
Such
here.
a cool
It cannot be
idea.
traded to other players, and that's a massive relief, because otherwise the economically correct decision would be to
Yeah.
always have like a bunch of tame beast gems in your inventory to catch any available beasts you run across to sell, and that'd be fun for a minute, but it'd very quickly
Trail
get
of
old.
Lightning.
Anyway, the now tamed
Energy
beast
Shield
is
Aura.
a spirit skill with a percentage
Oh,
spirit
God.
cost based on some kind of math about how significant that specific beast is. Presumably, bigger, stronger beasts take more spirit, and little
So
dwarves
sick,
take
though.
less.
How
I
sick
don't really
is
know how
that?
things like auras are factored in. what
Yeah,
exactly
yeah, it's got
scales that
spirit.
number.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes
High
people
spirit
figure
cost,
out over
unfortunately.
time.
You're like,
Activating the
I won't be able
beast
to use it in the
summons
build
and the
I'm
great
looking
news
at.
here is that if it dies, it revives automatically after a few seconds. I'm so
very
glad
cool.
we're over the like resummoning golems meta, and we just
Yeah.
have these things just auto summon now. One of my favorite changes about.
Maybe there's an
the
option for us
brand
if we
new
don't need
season
tons of
two
spirit
where
on the
you can see
Smith
the
build.
beast's type and the modifiers on the gem itself, and
Energy
any core
Shield Aura.
skills and bonus rare modifier effects
And extra
are all able
crits.
to be used to your benefit from the beast. I was testing this pretty early
wonder how
on
strong they
this
are.
build, so they were actively working to get the, I don't know, like hundreds or thousands of monster skills and effects to just work for
Yeah,
the player
I do
and
not
like,
envy
accidentally
whose
kill
job
them
that
or
was.
do other random stuff. So not everything I tested during this hands-on worked. Like I got a monster that had energy shield aura and it wasn't working, but energy shield auras will work. The first beast I got was this cute roly-poly. Since the aura wasn't working yet, I gave it some pats.
We're in
and
Power
sent it on
World,
its
guys.
way.
We're
After
living
a
in
little
Power
while.
World.
And I found a walking fish with shocked ground skill that did work. This was really cool for wind skills because it was an easy activator for that bonus added lightning damage, and
Yeah.
it had a fair amount of uptime. And since you can support these companions, you can put things like increased area of effect or the
Yeah,
enemy
we're looking
support.
at we're actually going to do group self-found. So we obviously don't have private leagues yet, so we're going to do like a trust system, you know, an honor-bound system. Someone in the Discord called it, where we're going to just say to each other, cool, like there's 8 of us. I think there's going to be about 6 or 8 of us or something currently, and we're just going to do it like, hey, we're like a band of adventurers, you know, and just trade with each other. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be a whole different way to play the game. A bit slower, probably. A bit more challenging to get your builds how you want them. But that's why I'm really happy I've got like 2 different kind of build options potentially. Because it might be a case of just having both.
Support to scale uptime of skills like this. And, you know, look, they're
Could you do the 80 projectile mob with scattershot? Sounds brave. Maybe a free mod beast would pay off for the high spirit cost. Yeah, we'll have to work out how they're scaling the spirit cost because it might be based on the mods as well. There'll probably be some kind of calculation where it's like the beast plus the mod type, something like that. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Yeah, it's kind of like guild self-found. Yeah, but not everyone in the guild wants to do it, so we're gonna have to make separate guild stashes for like just for the group. It'll be good. It'll be good. I trust everyone. Rage quitting the game just in time for PoE 2. Yeah, I don't know, dude. You always play something interesting, Guitar, so I'm curious. I'm curious what you go for. Yeah, I don't know what mob you're talking about, a guy with pants, but yeah, there's gonna be some broken combos people find. I think this is gonna take like another 2 patches, like the Spectres, to probably get
coverage and all that.
right
I used this
or
little
close to
fishing
right.
bow for quite a long time, and I was pretty happy with him tagging along to shock enemies, just doing his job. Much later on, I
Lightning
tested a beast
Mirage.
that had a healing pulse, and I was really impressed with how much healing it did. It was like a really powerful
Whoa.
flask effect, and it happened pretty often. That pulse also suppresses enemy healing too, so it'll deal with any like regions and annoying stuff like that. And, of
Whoa,
course,
that's
you can
so
use cooldowns
cool.
like that on it too. So as this is a
So
companion, which is a
cool.
new type of minion, effectively, you're limited to just 1 companion, so 1 tamed beast.
Honestly, like,
And
just
you will
like
also
druid
have to
build.
choose-
We haven't got any druid stuff, right? Like, we don't know, like, there's probably going to be, like, wolf companions and all this stuff, right? We haven't got any of those skills. But just this skill alone, you can get +1 companion somewhere on the tree, apparently. Like, you could just have 2 massive, like, quadrillas just following you around and you're a druid. And you're just letting them, like, the boys. It's like the new version of the boys, you know? But they're giant gorillas.
between this or the rower, as that's also a companion, the rower mount.
Waste, we don't
Unless
know.
That is, you pick up the new trusted.
We have
kinship
no
tombstone
idea.
That lets you have 1 of each. I didn't get to test the rower sadly, as it was a bit higher level in a spirit gem, so I couldn't. Just
Oh, I know the mob you're talking about now, I
for a while
think.
there. That
Yeah.
keystone
In the
does
lab.
come with a defensive downside, but that's probably because of things like the new loyalty companion support skill that shifts 10% of the damage you take to your companion, so that's really nice as well, along with just
Whoa.
like the utility of companions, I suppose. So I don't know how worth it that
That's
keystone will
huge.
be. 30% loss of evasion is not great, but we'll see what sort of utility these 2 things bring, and if you just can't live without
Yeah,
a
especially
rower
if you
and
get-
a tamed
If you get, like, a mob that has, like, evasive, they might give you back 15% of that evasion or something.
beast, then you may well want to pick that one up. Tamed Beast overall is frankly nuts. I can't believe the work GGG has made for themselves with this and Spectres to just test and tune every single monster ability and rare modifier and all that. There's just like a limitless amount of options for beast companions and rare modifiers here. And I've only really been thinking about things like utility, like auras and ground effects and healing pulses. I'm not sure if there's also going to be some decent damage potential with these things too, or other status
Yeah.
effects that can be done by certain specific creatures that do something that does something we don't ever even thought about up to this point. It's going to be a fun experience of looking at all of the beasts you
This
encounter
is so
and just
sick.
being like, I wonder if that's going to be something I should get. There's also plenty of
I
support
don't
on
even
the
know
tree
if
to
I'll
scale
play it,
them
but
and
it's
a
cool.
damage cluster.
Ooh. That's cool. Yeah, we're gonna have to completely rethink our tree. Sorry, I'm just looking at this and I'm noticing that the
down.
The frenzy nodes have now moved up here, and the crit nodes have moved up there, which for us would probably save us some points if we were on the other tree where we weren't taking these electrocute nodes. Because they'll be like up here, and then we won't have to come down. You know, it's just 1 point, but still, like, it makes you think. Yeah, we just don't know. Like, the tree could be changed in ways that are really good for this, or not. Oh my god, I'm excited. I'm excited.
In the Huntress area, even
When are we gonna get it? I wonder if let me just check the path of building. It won't be until, I imagine it won't be until, maybe it's already done. No, it's not. Yeah, I imagine it won't be until we get the
to scale both your companion
downloadable
damage and yours with the same nodes, reminiscent of the minion damage notable from PoE 1.
Oh, it's
and to
only
be
on that
honest,
mob.
This looks
I
good,
see what you
even
mean.
without a companion, for like those, you know, those builds that have damage types that are a little bit harder to scale, like bleed and poison.
What was
for
that?
like those, you know, those builds that have damage types that are
Keystone.
little-
Oh, that's the companion one. Okay. That is so cool that you could just have like a dual companion build, and then maybe go tactician and just do like a load of support stuff. That's
a
so
bit
cool.
harder to scale.
That is so cool. We're gonna get so many more options here. Like, the druid's definitely gonna have some kind of obviously
or
companion
like bleed
support
and
stuff.
poison. On the topic of spirit skills, Caltrops is a spirit skill that drops 3 Caltrops whenever you dodge roll. They deal a little bit of physical damage and maim on hit. I was a bit disappointed though to find out that they don't work with disengage. I know disengage isn't dodge roll, but it kind of works in much the same way, and I half hoped that it would. Disengage Caltrops
Yeah, that's
been
pretty
really fun, and
weak.
maybe
That
we'll
is
use this a
pretty
bit more.
weak.
It's a pretty low impact skill, to be honest. Maim is just easy to get elsewhere. Even just
Yeah.
like the maiming strike notable in the Huntress area is like right there on the main path, and it's kind of good for damage anyway. It does have some cute details, like the damage scales with thorn scaling, and since they're a projectile, I guess you could use scattershot, which I didn't think to test at the time.
Yeah, the tactician seems like super interesting. I'm not gonna try and figure it out myself because I'm already just super interested in this the poison changes. But I love that it's just opening up entirely new build archetypes like for that side of the tree. And there's going to be some really fun stuff. Like the spirit stuff alone is like pretty cool. Yeah, I think there's going to be some really fun stuff to come out of that. I'll let you figure that out, mate.
And if you're scaling hazards for a spearfield build, then there's some synergy there, but overall I only really see this getting some niche use for the just trade-off of using this instead of another spirit skill. I think there's other better options for most builds, right? I like the idea, but it seems kind of hard to justify, I think, in most builds, unless there's some like nice utility.
That
from
is an
certain supports or items
undercooked one, I
missing.
think.
I'll probably look like an idiot. Ignite and shock.
Elemental Sundering. Plunge your spear into the ground to emit a pulse that consumes free shock and light. Pulse itself does some damage. And it's 55. It's just the
Enemies or
speed.
corpses. Just a note, this gem was a bit unfinished here.
Yeah.
Playable, but it was missing effects and such, so we'll only take a brief
Right.
look at it. The skill does no damage with the initial pulse, but the pulse detonates any statuses in the area, basically. The explosion damage ranges from very high on frozen enemies to lower on the shocked and ignited ones, since, you know, those are easier to apply ultimately. Ground effects do work
interesting.
with this as well, so you can detonate them, or more specifically, like a shocked ground, the shock that it applies to an enemy can be detonated. And that shock ground, if it's still there, will just reapply that after a short delay. The real potential for this one seems to be if you have some nice like proliferation style effects or lots of lingering ignites and such on corpses, so that you can get a lot of overlapping explosions to blast.
Do you know what could be interesting for that? Is using like some kind of weapon swap. Doing something like the Shattering Palm. If you did something like Shattering Palm with Frozen Nexus, or like Wave of Frost with Frozen Nexus to get the chilled ground, and then just kept putting your spear in and using like the glacial spear thing.
Down res and big
I don't know. Maybe maybe cold isn't
the use case is a bit unusual.
worst
in
thing
that
for
it
that.
requires you to apply ailments to many enemies to do much with it. And in most cases, if you're doing that, the enemies are going to be dead. And unless there's a bunch of enemies in that same place, and then you can detonate the corpses. you're not really going to need to use it a lot of the time, which was ultimately the case for me while leveling. But I'm not ready to write this skill off, as I think there will be some strong uses for it. It seems like one of those skills that someone's going to figure out how to break the game with. The other level 11 skill is Whirlwind Lance, which is a thrown spear that creates whirlwinds. Same as Whirling Slash. Whirlwinds are kind of their own separate secondary skill effect, and
That's cool.
them too. The lance is a simple but
I want to see this
hard-hitting spear throw.
wind
If it
dragon
kills something,
skill.
It creates a stage 3 whirlwind straight up.
Oh, this is it.
Stage 1, and it'll also consume a maybe. Level 12 skills are typically the big cooldown or payoff finisher style skills, and that's certainly the case here. The first is Wind Serpent's Fury. It's the only
That's just freaking sick. That is sick. For each frenzy chance consumed, damages and knocks back.
Spirit
get
type,
an
I believe, that
additional
uses frenzy charges. The rest are all ranged
serpent.
attacks. On use, it thrusts your spear forwards and consumes all frenzy charges to create a twisting wind serpent per frenzy charge consumed. The thrust itself is a slow but pretty
That's
heavy hitting
so
attack
sick.
with
Is that not
2
sick?
knockback, and each serpent also hits and knocks back enemies as well, with increased distance against unique enemies, which is kind of necessary as often unique enemies are just not very pushable. This skill is designed to push things that you can't normally push. If you do manage to push a smaller enemy into a bigger one, or any enemy into a wall, then the skill also creates a shockwave that deals extra damage in an area. And I imagine scaling, knockback range, and things like that are probably going to be where this skill starts to really shine, especially in tight maps where you can get a lot of enemies to kind of just smash into each other and then smash into a wall for a whole bunch of shockwaves. Probably going to be very satisfying. It's really hard to see the potential here from just the footage of me testing it briefly, but I think in, you know, the right build, that especially something that's able to generate frenzy charges consistently, we're going to see, like, I don't know, builds one-shotting bosses with this by just bullying them into a wall.
So
Since this has no
cool.
cooldown, you can probably use it really often as well. So as long as you can just keep those frenzy charges going, you can keep
Oh yeah,
blasting snakes.
and then you get
all over the
perpetual
map.
charge on it, and then it doesn't consume them.
It's likely very much a build-around skill, and
Like, I'm thinking, like, potentially big bleeds with it. I don't know. Actually, no, you want to stack multiple things. Maybe you could do, like, poison with something like that. Physical damage, though. So the interesting thing is you could then obviously not use Plague Finger. And you could potentially... I think you're right, Deadeye is probably the way to do something like that.
probably a pretty good one, I
Interesting.
suspect. Spira Solaris is the final skill, and it certainly stands out quite delightfully
Okay.
over the top.
What is this? Cooldown. So it is a cooldown skill. Call forth the Asmiri goddess Solaris, jumping backwards and throwing your spear. Pulses periodically. Okay. Expanding ignited ground. Modifies to number of projectiles. Cool, cool, cool. 623.
Top
Interesting.
indeed. Spear of Solaris is a 30-second cooldown, sustained AoE projectile skill. You throw a spear into the air while jumping backwards, and after a moment the spear lands for a heavy hit of damage that cannot be evaded. Then a big old orbital beam from the sun fires down
So
and pulses
sick.
fire damage rapidly for 4 seconds. It
Oh,
also
that's
drops
so cool.
expanding burning ground with pretty high damage that gets stronger over time until it peaks right before expiring. So you can't add projectiles to do shenanigans with that. And it also doesn't have a duration tag, so you can't kind of extend the duration of the beam. But
So
as
how
it
do you
is a
scale
cooldown
it?
skill, you can indeed use the second wind support to get down 2 of them for the trade-off of a longer cooldown, which I think is kind of a non-issue here, because if your plan is only really to use this at the start of a boss fight or something, then that's a pretty good choice. While it doesn't have a duration tag, the burning ground should still be supportable with the spoiler, I suspect. That'll need testing, and it's got some pretty big damage on that burning ground, so it could really be worth it to have that stick around for longer. Generally speaking,
What
with
does
big
the
cooldown,
spoiler do? Where is it? Here. Spoiler. Duration of ground surfaces. Oh, yeah. I wonder. That's cool. That's such a niche support gem as well.
skills like this,
It has a projectile. Would it work? No, it wouldn't work. No. Barrage won't work, I don't think. Because I think it said like additional projectiles don't. Or does barrage repeat the skill? No, there's no shot. There's no shot. I think you're talking about the serpent thing, aren't you? The serpent wind thing. Is that right?
the question
Yeah.
is always just whether you want to dedicate
talking about
the skill
Solaris?
slot and the supports that could go elsewhere to something that you can't use constantly. It's hard to say. I didn't feel like it was too worthwhile during leveling, and I had a lot of skills competing for my attention on the Huntress and on the spears in general, but it's got some really big numbers, so I'm sure it'll see some use in endgame. Honestly, its biggest downside is that it's just a bit too epic. You can't really see
It's
anything
too
when you use
epic.
it, especially if you use two of them. I have no idea what the boss is doing when it's getting beamed. So that's the skill overview done. I hope you enjoyed these early looks at the Huntress and the spear skills. And
Yeah, that's
mechanics.
pretty
I'll note
cool,
all of the
man.
skills
I just
quickly
think
with me,
that's just
many
the
we
rule of
did,
cool,
and
isn't it?
really importantly, the fundamentals like parry, disengage, thunder asleep, and that whole melee range mix just felt really good to me. The Huntress and spears are a complex playstyle.
Okay, that's fun. Let's just, before we do the Amazon thing. So, just if any of you are curious about the Amazon thing, basically, what did I write down here? It's like, you're just basically going to be using infusion. Like, you're going to stack all of the same charges. You're going to try get all 3 charges using, like, you don't even have to use profusion because you're getting all 3 charges. But you might want to shift around where you're generating more. And then you're just going to stack accuracy and do all the Amazon stuff with crit. You'd probably get the Elemental Leech, or you would take the Stalking Panther. And if you took Stalking Panther, you could do something, you could do something different, like the Coming Calamity or something like that, where you don't actually need to worry about your body armor giving you your defenses. Something like this would be really solid, actually, on that. And then maybe you don't scale Energy Shield. Maybe you go south and you scale some armor and you get some armor pieces as well. That's one way to do it. But yeah, that's what I would do for the Amazon version of this. It's all the same, basically. You're obviously not taking you probably wouldn't take quarterstaff nodes, and you'd use something else. You might use, like Thunderous Leap or one of the other like big slam skills to spend to then scale your damage. So you might not use Falling Thunder for it, because you're getting infusions. We'll have to work out, like, you'd have to see how the infusion thing works out, because that might become your main damage source. But equally, you could just like take all those same nodes and use a quarterstaff instead of a spear, and then you're still going to be benefiting from, all of the infusion stuff and that. I wonder if there's a way. There might be a way where you can actually make the infusion stuff work with the Falling Thunder thing, where to do with ricochets, or like if you're far enough away, or slower projectiles. I don't know. That's kind of a bit of a wild one. I might let that shake out, because I kind of just want to be the only person to make Chiola work. But let's save this, and then we're going to create a new profile. I'm going to do a warrior. And we're going to take it from here. Falling Thunder has 50% more damage now. Exactly. Yeah. It has 50% more damage per... where is it? Per stack. So it's 25% extra... yeah. It's 25% additional to what it was, is what I meant. So we're gaining about 200% more damage on top of it as well, which just seems really hard to pass up, especially now that we might actually be able to make this work with the regen. Like this regen and solving mana, and then having loads of mana stuff going on and triggering a load of stuff with cast on shock if we build up the shock stuff. The Voltaic Mark stuff, or Voltaic Mark, that Velitus sort of made a video on. I think it might be really good. Empowered attacks, repeat 2 times plus additional time. If that would be so crazy though, Velitus, don't you think? Like, it might work, and if it does, it might then get patched, or it might just stay as an OP thing. But if you could throw down like 6 Solaris beams at once, I think that might be too powerful. Don't you think? We'll definitely look into it. We'll absolutely look into it. Right. what we want to do is we want to go. I don't think the problem is none of these spear. Oh, are they? Are they in? No, no, we don't have any spear stuff yet, unfortunately. It looks like, well, in here at least. Yeah, so it's not in here, but that's fine. Got a sec for an opinion. Yeah, sure. It's not additional projectiles, so it should work. Dude, if it works, then sick. Like, that's gonna be amazing. Quality of life to Atlas navigation. Oh, this is your post. Okay, let's have a look. Very nice way to open up a message. I'd be a bit worried about saying drug of choice so that they don't get like. I feel like companies now have to be so careful about like engaging with people when they're like 10 years later, some lawyers like, well, you did encourage a drug habit. Yesterday I was thinking about how sometimes I get annoyed trying to navigate my atlas and find certain areas. I wanted to get the tablets. So, mostly bad layout maps. While areas around towers that mostly contain large open maps. Bored of repeatedly chasing one league mechanic, I can go to the other side of the atlas and do different league mechanics. Due to the fact I'm trying to locate certain areas of interest on the atlas, it's painful for me at least. A possible suggestion or hint for a direction of the future. Adding a button that opens closes a grid on which you can mark areas of interest where you can jump to in between when you want to on the atlas. Alternatives could be using yes, so yeah, okay, so I think they're like, hey Lefteris, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Do it, Velitus. Get working. Get back to work. Okay, so in regards to Atlas navigation, I 100% agree with you, Waste Management. I'm glad you've posted this because I think it's just good to make them aware of it. I just obviously make YouTube videos and hope that they see them eventually. But this is probably actually better in terms of actually providing feedback. I did make a video about obviously having this map grid, and I think that's what they probably need to do. They might do it where they don't change the visualization of it, because they're putting a lot of work into the visuals. But I think they're going at some point they're gonna need to do something where you can zoom out even further to like a map view, where it's top down, and you can really just like quickly type in and search stuff, filter stuff. Maybe like you say, set pins on a map that you can then like when you're in the atlas view, you can just like hit, you know, a button, a side arrow, and it will go between your pins of interest. I think that's a really good suggestion. I think it should be part of a more comprehensive suite of like quality of life changes for sure. Let's close that. Where were we? Right. So we don't have the skills, but we can do the planner, and that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. So I'm thinking we don't want to do melee damage. Let's what is it? Press S and click. No, that's in PoB, isn't it? We're gonna just like try and build a ton of fire stuff, and we're just gonna, I don't know, we're gonna look at like block and all this stuff. Another thing that I was considering is maybe looking at, because if you look at the Smith of Katava, where is it? Smith of Katava. Obviously, this is going to be a bit more of a simple tree, I think, to figure out. Where's the image? Here it is. Yeah, you just need like something to search. Magma Barrier Warrior, I love that, Lefteris. Like, yeah, that's very, very cool. Yeah, I think this is basically, this is what I'm looking at doing. Using like Chernobog's, where is it? Yeah. Using like, you know, if we use Chernobog's, it's just like made for that ascendancy. with the added fire damage based on block. And then the block changes are looking really good. So for those that you didn't see, shield bash, we now get like this shield bash thing, which is gonna like stun enemies, which is cool. And Chernobog's is a tower shield, so we'll also be dazing them. Where is it? So they're going to get dazed as well. It's got an okay amount of armor on it. We're going to have to find a ton of block chance elsewhere, but that's okay. Yeah, so if we go... let's just come in here. And block chance. Life regen, I'm not 100% sure about. We don't want melee damage. So I've been thinking about doing something like, if we go, you know, get the 2 resistance things, which I just think is going to be solid, super, super solid. It makes like gearing so easy. We just stack a load of fire resistance. Obviously, we're going to have to look at the passive tree when it gets updated. So we've spent our 4 points there. We've got 4 more points. One of them is we could take 4 nodes from here, right? And... I mean, like, take your pick, right? Like, the 25% taken as fire is obviously a really strong one. I was thinking, like, 5% regen is also incredibly strong. We could take increased max life. So, what am I getting at? I think there might be a, like, variant of this that is, like, life regen. Like, some sort of life regen variant. So we take all of this stuff, we take, we go here instead of going here. And then basically we just go through the tree and pick up a ton of different, like, so there's like life regen here. There is Hail Heart, which gives increased recovery rate, which is multiplicative. And then... I'm thinking, where is it? There's another life regeneration rate up here. And then where did I go? I must have come down here probably. So I think the dual nodes they're going to be getting rid of is the inner circle dual nodes. So I think the outer circle ones, I'm hoping, are going to be all right. Then we're going to get unnatural resilience. All the way up here. And then we can get these block nodes. So we're getting 20 life recovery on block. We should be blocking like all the time. Yeah, plus chance to block if you've actively blocked. This is massive. That's massive. Because that's like, you know, if we've got like 50% base chance, we're getting another like 12.5% block chance. And recently's 4 seconds, like we could be doing this all the time. This is super strong, I think. Super, super strong. Plus we get obviously the nice block nodes on the way up to it. Bone and Spectre Leech. I think the Lich idea is solid, Guitar. Can you send me a POB or just a link? Hey, Same Dirt. How you doing, mate? Same Dirt, diff shirt. Great name. Yeah, the resonating shield thing. What is that? Oh, Waste. Sorry, mate. I didn't see that you're heading off. Thanks for chatting today, mate. I appreciate it. Yeah, glad you stopped by. Have a good evening, my dude. Okay, well, once you've got it figured out, Guitar, send me a POB or something, and I will take a look. Yeah, Same Dirt. So we're just looking at we are looking at how to do like a flame spear. Like we're doing some sort of flame spear ignite thing. Maybe having Hammer of the Gods in there as well, because we're going to figure out how to heavy stun. So we'll get loads of heavy stun to build Glory, and then that will in turn give us what we need for Hammer of the Gods. I hope. I don't know. We're going to have to figure that out. But even if we can't use Hammer of the Gods, we're going to be good anyway. Hits that heavy stun, inflict fire exposure. So I haven't played in all of patch 1. I didn't play any like warrior. I didn't do any fire stuff. So I'm gonna kind of rely on you guys to like help me figure this one out. This recovery rate stuff is huge on low life. That's really strong. I wonder if that might... I don't know if we're ever going to get to low life. Or if there's something that could maybe there's a new unique which could put us down to low life or something. I'll have to have a look into that. Let's chuck block up. How good do crossbows sound? Yeah. Crossbows sound pretty wild. Magma barrier and shield wall for bosses. Where you do want magma barrier, and it also blows up the shield wall to do shotgun damage. But shield wall got a bit nerfed, like the life cap. Ah, the shield wall thing. Yeah, you know what? I completely forgot that even existed. I remember. Let me get that out. Too loud. Shield wall. It's where you like stamp the ground or something, isn't it? Ram your shield into the ground. And your slams will instantly destroy them. Well, if your slams instantly destroy them, then that should be fine. Base offhand damage. That's weird. Right, so we need to do this calc quick because obviously magma barrier now scales off of armor, right? And it's like if we were to build Chernobog's isn't great. Yeah, it's not. Obviously, we don't have it yet. But let's have a look at shields. No. Black steel tower shield. I'm guessing that's the best shield. Nope, it's not. Stone tower shield. Where's that then? It's so annoying because all of these have changed. Stone. There we go. Nope, that's not the one. Okay. Whatever, we'll just use that because it's going to be the same anyway. So say we maxed out the... Oh, maybe this is good then. Oh, no, it's not. Yeah. So say you've got... Oh, it's because that's an enchant, you donut. Yeah, say like you didn't even have triple armor suffixes. Let's just say you've got 1,000 just for because it's easy. 1,000 energy shield. Magma barrier is now gonna do 6 to 8 per 15. Okay. So 1,000 divided by 15 times 7 as an average. So you're going to get 466 additional damage. That's just ridiculous. And it's 405% effective. Yikes. That's going to be that's a lot of damage. Can spawn like 2 to 3 of them, and then you just time your magma barrier when a boss attacks, and you'll position yourself in a way that it blows up the shield walls. Yeah. Yeah, the new rune stuff is like, this is why I'm considering playing SSF. Or well, I think we're gonna do it. We're doing it. We're making it happen. We're gonna do SSF. Because I just think like the recombinator stuff is gonna make it a lot easier to make it viable. Yeah, so okay, so then the skill the shield wall skill does another 6 to 8 for 15, so that's another 400 on. This is the thing, if you were using like a a nice shield. Actually, that doesn't even factor sockets, does it? Because you could put a couple of iron runes in. And then does that affect it? A little bit. Still, that's probably like another, 50 damage or something. Yeah, because it's about 50% effectiveness. So yeah, you're getting about 50% of your, just under 50% of your armor as base damage. Jeez. But yeah, we want to use Chernobog's because of the fire damage added. The added fire damage. So we are going to use this, but I'm thinking, 75% of damage gained, or 70% of damage gained from Chernobog's is going to be better, potentially. I wonder actually. Thing is, that's to all our damage. So yeah, it's gotta be. It's gotta be. Right. But we will use Magma Barrier and all the, Fortress and stuff like that. Absolutely. How you doing, Sashiro? How you doing, mate? Do I think that GGG are trying to tell us to start using more defensive knights? Maybe. I hope they are. I hope the whole, point of what we're trying to do is, what they're trying to do, is to train us as players to be like, hey, so we're going to start nerfing stuff. Just wanted to let you know, we don't need attack damage. We can save a couple of knights there. Yeah. I really want the game to be slower, not more painful. I'm not trying to play ruthless. I just want to know what I'm doing when I'm in maps. I loved that I could read the screen for most of the campaign. I know that's just my take, And then I think basically what we want to do is take a load of crit damage bonus nodes, and then just hope that we get a big ignite off of a crit. Man, it is so tempting. This is a nice 2 points as well if we were going armor and evasion, which I think we should do. Get some armor and evasion here. But the one thing I thought about doing as well is taking this node, reduced duration, and then maybe anointing this for more reduced duration. And then not only do we get some, so what we've got 16, 32, 48% there. The thing that would be really nice for that is I love when people use, what was that spirit reservation thing that's purify, oh my god, what is it? Oh, not Marauder. I can't wait till Marauder comes out. Time of need, thank you. And then we go 30% less skill effect duration. So we get that 10 seconds down to I don't know, 4 seconds or something. So every 4 seconds we're getting, 660 life and getting rid of all of our ailments and stuff. That just seems like an absolute no-brainer. Yeah, let's chuck that in. I think that's going to be... yeah, exactly. Yeah. I agree with you, Sirkin. Yeah, it's we just need... We just need to be able to see what we're doing. Otherwise, I just don't get the... I think you could almost boil down the only meaningful, in terms of moment-to-moment gameplay, the only meaningful difference between PoE 1 and PoE 2 will come down to that if you can feel combat or not. And to be clear, I'm actually totally fine if they're we just want people to blast, and it's just PoE 1 with better graphics and stuff. I'm fine with that. I love PoE 1. I think it's the best game ever made. Cool. We just get a new version of that. But I think they might be able to do. But then I'm well, just keep PoE 1 going because PoE 1's sick. Fresher was wicked. There's loads of improvements that they could continue making to that game, and then just over time make PoE 1 blasty and PoE 2 more hey, it's just more combat focused thing, But I can see how that's really difficult when you've got, you don't have one person who is essentially the Jonathan of, the face of PoE 1. Really, I respect that Chris wanted to just move on with his life. It's been nearly 15 years, or probably longer than 15 years for him, nearly 20 years, I guess. But it would be wicked if you had someone like that, like a Chris Wilson who was just handling PoE 1. And then it was like, cool, here's the direction of this. And I guess in a way Mark does that, you know, like feels like Mark's really in tune with it. But yeah, it's like it's a win-win. It's a win-win for us. I think we've all just been a bit confused, and we're gonna really see. So they've said, obviously, in the lead up to this, they have said we think the balance was way off, right? Like I can't remember exactly how he phrased it, but I think it was Mark who was like, the balance was a joke, basically. Like, we do not want to see people doing like, you know, zests per second. That was specifically what they've been trying to avoid, right? And why they put all this effort into the bosses. So, what they mean by way off, we will find out, I think, over, not even this patch, we'll find out over the whole of EA. By the time we get to 1.0, I think they will feel like they know what they want it to be. And we'll see. We will see. Yeah. Whether or not it's something that, like, is, you know, slower and more methodical, or it's somewhere in the middle, or we just don't know. So we're going to be using Magma Barrier, and then, what is it, Fortress, not Fortress? Fortress? Support? Is Fortress not a support? Oh, yeah, so what we're building is, we've just kind of got to like the 80% of a poison acolyte of Chayula / Amazon, potentially. But basically like poison elemental, mainly lightning build, using Falling Thunder. Falling Thunder got buffed. I think it's going to be really, really strong. I actually played it. I played it in the first patch. And it was wicked. It was just outshined by Heralds. But now they're not really going to be a thing. I think Falling Thunder might be wicked, and it got buffed. So that could be cool. And also Acolyte, I'm going to see if I can get like the Mana Leech, Energy Shield Leech thing working on Acolyte. Who knows? It might be rubbish. So now I wanted to look over the other side of the tree, and we're going to try and do like a Flame Spear, like a Flame Spear and Shield, Katava, Smith of Katava. So we're thinking we're gonna do, like, we could do Temper Weapon. I just don't know what it does. Or we could do Fire Spell on Hit. I think like Fire Spell on Hit could be cool. I don't know how that works though. Like, it's probably not gonna work with channeled skills, so we probably won't be able to use like Flame Blast. But you know, can you imagine if you could? I don't know if Flame Blast's got like a cooldown now or whatever. But you know, like maybe like Ember Fusillade, or I don't know, Fireball or whatever. That could be sick, like, and going like more projectile based. Yeah, I don't know. Or we spend all 4 points, you know, in here, and we just make our body armor sick. Probably get like the Chaos, convert Fizz to Fire, increase life, and life regen as the 4 nodes. And then so we're going to look at 2 trees. I'm going to kind of explore 2 trees. One is like a health regen, like a life regen build, where we just try and generate, I know they don't want us to do life regen, but we just try and get as much life regen as we can. Yeah. And maybe that works, I don't know. I think we get this. There was something that I was looking at that was going to guarantee me crits, but I can't remember what it was. Because I was like, oh, I don't need to worry about crit stacking. I don't know. 25%. Yeah, I think our block chance now. We've got loads of block. Gotcha. Channel won't work. Yeah, you're right. Shield wall and fortress support. Thank you. I will do that. What are we building? So yeah, I'm up to date. Yeah. Let's have a look at how much block we got. Or is it life defenses? 77% increased block chance. So, this isn't base block. Is that right? So it's increased block chance. So you don't get base block anymore, so you have to scale the block off of your... What? See, this is a whole new world for me. We want to come up here as well. Thorns if you've blocked. Maybe we could do some sort of fun thorns thing. We're gonna want the endurance charges. 100% crit chance against enemies with full life. The leaping ambush node, is that it? Leaping ambush. I don't think I was thinking of that. Looking at that. That's a solid node, isn't it? That's a pretty solid node. Yeah, the question is if the flaming spear does any damage whilst it is before it explodes, because that would then like sort of screw that up. But if it didn't do any damage until it blew up, that'd be pretty cool. So I kind of basically just want to use flaming, like the exploding spear stuff. Like just have 2 of them, get the plus with like the overabundance limit, and just like one after another, and kind of maybe like thundering slam, or I don't know, because they're a detonator, aren't they? Like you can detonate them. So it's like, what can we do with detonation? Maybe. Fortress. And then what's the other stuff? Shield charge, resonating shield, hit breaks armor, 6 to 8 added physical damage, modifiers to attack speed, heart being powered by war cries. Yeah, I wonder if that could be cool. Because one thing we need to do is like get endurance charges from armor break. So we're gonna have to find it. Do you guys know of any way to like connect stun, armor break, and fire damage? I know like there's an armor explosion, right? What is it? Armor explosive armor or something? What is it? Damn, nearly been doing this for 4 hours already. Yeah, man, honestly. You're doing your skill design stuff, right? Shield nodes, top left, damage per block chance. Armor explosion, thank you. Armor. It's because it's a support gem, isn't it? Can we check it on here? There we go. 100% of physical support attacks causing them to trigger a fire explosion when they fully break an enemy's armor. Yeah, whatever. Armor break. Armor breaker. That's the attack, isn't it? Armor explosion. So we just need like a break. Unbreakable break posture. We're gonna already daze them. Yeah, I need to look at ways to like convert daze over, and just that resonated shield raises the shield, so it's really does well with magma barrier when used together. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Yeah, that makes an absolute ton of sense. Damage per block chance. This one here. No, it's not that one, is it? This one. This is it. Lay Siege. Yeah. So we're going to get like 60%. With Churnabogs, we're not going to be able to like we're not going to be able to get enough block chance, really. Because we can get 100%, that's only going to take us 52%. Which is still 50% extra damage, obviously. But I'm not 100% sure this is going to be worth it. It might be worth just getting like a really good armor shield. What's the level requirement? It's quite a high level requirement. Because can you corrupt? You can corrupt it for increased block chance. That's crazy. Is that local though? Is that a local one? Does it say on it? No, it doesn't. I wonder if that was local, that'd be amazing. That'd be like the poggest corruption ever. Warrior, it's probably just the easier way. Just a resonating shield. Warrior has the chance that gives block. What? What do you mean, mate? We're on the warrior. We're on the warrior. Am I missing something? I would love to figure out how to do low life. Because if we can, this is like wild. You know, if you had like Progenesis or something. Maybe we should just be a blood mage. Is that the worst idea ever? Probably. It costs us like 10 points to get around here. What does Blood Mage give us? Oh, they've changed it though, haven't they? This won't be fully accurate. So you could do bleeds. Haven't they got something that's like guaranteed bleeds now or something? Imagine we did like a bleed ignite. I know this sounds ridiculous and it's probably not going to work at all. Blood Mage. It now causes bleeding you inflict on cursed targets to be aggravated. That's obviously very good. Critical hits to ignore armor. Kind of, I guess both. Like I'm doing sort of just theory crafting, different things. I'm either gonna league start this like, I don't know, just exploring actually. Like the two main ideas right now are like a Acolyte of Chola, Poison, Lightning, Falling Thunder, which I think is gonna be actually really good if it's survivable enough with the leech, if there's enough leech there. I think I know the damage will be fine. I'm like really certain. It's like if we can get electrocute, yeah. If we can get shock, we'll get the shock fine. If we can get electrocute working, that will be a really good defensive layer. And then with the leech stuff on top, if there's enough damage that we're doing, we're getting something like 50%. What is it? 50%. 150%. We're getting about 40% of damage leached as energy shield. And then we'll also have this to give us like life recovery to energy shield. And then anything that goes through our energy shield, we should be able to, like, I don't know, maybe get another leech node somewhere or something. But we've got this 1% recovery. And we will get energy shield recovery on life. I don't know, we'll have to see about that. But yeah, and then we're looking at this like flame spear, exploding spear build thing right now. And just going to see, like, I don't think we want to go fire damage. And I was just randomly thinking, oh, I wonder if you can make a blood mage work. and stack life and life regen and recoup. Skills gain a base life cost equal to the base mana cost, because we know that we're getting like a reduction in mana cost for attack skills, right? Westworld print on the top left of the wall. Yes, Maple. That's exactly what it is. Oh, Warbringer. Yeah, Warbringer as the block node. Warbringer's got a buff as well, right? And that would also allow us to spam Infernal Cry. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at the idea of it. I'm not so... Like, Smith and Katava isn't really giving us a ton. Well, it's giving us a ton of defenses, obviously. But that we can kind of get that, you know, not 90%. We can get, like, you know, 80% probably. And we get the explode. Warcry area of effect to scale the corpse explosion rate. Okay, so that's just like a clear benefit. I wonder if those explosions gain the 75% of damage gained, or the 50% damage gain from the shield from Chernobog's. If damage is extra fire as fire damage, gain as fire damage. Yes, I think. Total charm passes now has 25% less block chance. Oh, that's the one. Encasing Jade, Ancestral Spirits. That Ancestral Spirit thing I couldn't work out. The pinning stuff has had its cooldown lowered. The pinning got better. Jade Hulk damage now has 300% more stun build up. 10 rage. Increased defenses, increased block. Power Shell aura from the Ancestral Spirit Turtle. Muy interesante. yeah, exactly. Blood Mage in SSF, yeah. Yes, Maple, sorry. To be clear, that print is from Westworld, yeah. It's the maze. I absolutely loved the first series of that show. I actually thought the other series were kind of cool. Like, I thought it was cool the direction they took it in. I would watch that show every season that it would come out, regardless of whether, you know, I liked what the writers did with it. It's like, who cares? It's like, they're the ones making it. Just have fun. Yeah, I love that show. I don't know if they're not making anymore, are they? I'm guessing. Because I thought, like, oh, I really want to find out what happens next. Westworld, next season. That series, honestly, no official confirmation. Westworld was cancelled after season 4. Yeah, that's such a shame. That is such a shame. Because they could have... It felt like that was going to be the last season, the next one. Gets hopeful response from showrunner. Season 5 would have been the final. Ah, man, that's such a shame. Anyway, yeah, I absolutely love that show. I thought it was incredibly poetic, especially the first season, about this whole idea of like finding yourself. And it's like Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist, right? Like that book about you've already arrived, like you're already sitting on all the joy and happiness that you ever need in your life, you know? That I read that book like probably when I was about 18, and it was incredibly like formative for me. I would probably attribute like 20% of the joy in my life to that book. Soshiro. Yeah, you need to watch this, man. The music for the trailer and the trailer music is incredible. My housemate's really nifty on the piano. And what were we watching the other day? Oh, we weren't watching it. Sorry, he was watching Severance, a trailer for it. And he was like, "Oh, I think I could play that." And he just like jumped on the keyboard and just instantly could play, like figured out how to play the intro sequence to it. I was like, God damn it. So annoyingly talented. Okay, should we have a look at the Warbringer then? Should we have a look at the Warbringer? I wonder, so I need to familiarize myself with this. What is going on here? Okay, break armor equals 10% of hit damage. That's like a win, I think. I think we only need the armor break. We don't really need it to below 0. Taken from your nearest totem. Do we really want to summon totems? Gain 40% base chance to block from equipped shield instead of the shield's value. Yeah, that's giving me life. I like that. You can block damage from all hits while the shield is not raised. So, is the idea here... I can't do that on the piano, but I used to be able to. Sashira, that's so cool, man. I used to play drums. Not very well. But drums is like the one thing that if I had more time, I would do. Rest well, my sweet drumming friend. And I will catch you tomorrow for League launch. We're going to be going live tomorrow, guys. We're going to be hitting live. And yeah, it's going to be sick. Night, dude. Okay, so then Turtle Charm. If you can stack enough block chance, can you still block cap? In theory, it's not putting a cap on it, is it? It's just saying. So then if we get that, corpses in your presence. Oh, we can't get the war cry thing though. Yikes. Yikes. Yeah, it's a shame because that's going to scale off physical as well, isn't it? Okay. That's really annoying. Break up. We really want the armor break, I think. Because then we can get the endurance charges, which we can use to fuel our Infernal Cry really easily. Unless, is there any other really good way of getting endurance charges that I don't know about? It feels like maybe there's a support coming for that, because I feel like there's just not great endurance charge support on the tree. Good night, good night, good night. Good night, good night, good night. Actually, I'm like so not against this this ascendancy potentially for this. Because I think block is, you know, you can block damage from all hits. We might not even need that though, actually. Now I'm thinking about it, because we're going to be doing a lot of active blocking. Holy shit, and that would give us that. And then we can just spec into a ton of Warcry stuff. Which is kind of on the way here anyway. Do we even need, I guess we do need Warcry speed, but we don't need the Warcry recovery. Do we? Because that's what the Ascendancy does. I'm already forgetting what the Ascendancy does. Yeah, we don't have cooldowns. Okay, what Warcries have we got? A Var Cry, Seismic Cry, and Infernal Cry. Is that the only cries? Okay. That sounds. Check the other nodes too on Warbringer. Might be able to utilize. Yeah. So what is it? Empowers the next melee slam attack you perform, plus an additional attack per endurance consumed. Knocks enemies back. Stun build up. So this just deals damage. What? This is where I'm thinking, like, maybe it's so tough now, because like Titan would actually be really good as well, potentially. Titan might be pretty good. Is that? But I've just Enduring Cry doesn't exist, or is that like a support? No, there's no living in PoE 1, bro. Or is that? Am I missing this? Is there an is? Oh, that's good, isn't it? That's good, isn't it? The thing is, we're gonna have to use melee. Da, 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 da. Oh, there's so many unknowns with this one. This is what's stressing me out about this a little bit. Like, I love the idea of it. I just don't know how much support there is for oh, that ignite duration though. Jeez. I just don't know how much support there is for all of this, like, fire, endurance / stun synergy stuff. Like, it must be there. I'm probably missing like most of it. But I just don't know what to do. Oh, I love Sag. Yeah, Corrupting Cry. It's like, how good is that though? I just don't know how good it is. I have no reference on how good it is. Da, 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 da. I wonder if that ignite. I wonder if that could ignite and inflict fire exposure. So this is dealing fire damage, but shield wall is dealing physical damage. The physical damage we could stun with. Build up stun. Boom, 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 boom. Repeatedly strike your shield. It's raised whilst you're doing that. Yeah, that is going to be strong, man. That is going to be strong. That's going to be just a build in of itself. And then, because that's a melee skill, we're going to be getting all of the infernal... It's channeling though, so I'm not sure how that would work with Infernal Cry. How's the next? It doesn't say non-channeling melee attack. I wonder if that would work. If starting to channel this is considered a single instance, like it. Yeah, the magma barrier thing, yeah. But we're gonna be doing this, maybe. Hammer of the Gods. Yeah, but the thing with Perfect Strike, I think Perfect Strike got a bit of a nerf, actually. No longer always ignites. Slower. It has more ignite chance. It has more area. Yeah, because I like the idea of, like, I'm open to, like, weapon swapping as well. Like, it could actually be an interesting use case where we have, you know, like a big old mace. We're going to need a mace for the Hammer of the Gods anyway. If we're stunning a load of people, we'd probably want to go with maybe stun build up. Let's just go with that. Fizz, fire, maybe. No, probably gonna need freaking accuracy rating. Melee skill damage, crit multi, and then do we just accept that we're the slowest person in the world? Maybe. It's like the GG weapon right there. Cool. But yeah, maybe we do perfect strike. So we're like throwing a couple of spears. There's loads of people. Throw a couple of spears. Loads of people coming at us. We're like bang, bang, bang on the shield. Biggity, biggity, bang. Like stomp. Banging some trash cans. And then they're all blowing up. The spears blow up. Throw a couple more. Careful about doing that on camera. So yeah, throw that. Bang, bang, bang. We probably don't hammer of the gods. Solaris. Big Solaris. What is the hammer? This glory change, I still don't understand this. Does anyone understand this? It has no cooldown, but requires 20 glory to use. Glory is a resource that gets built up by heavy stunning enemies. The amount of glory is based on the stunned monster's power. Quality is now... So you just gain this thing, glory. We don't know how long it lasts. We don't know. You just have to stun people. That seems cool to me. So we just stun a load of people. So if we can just get like banging shield to stun. In that case though, I'm not. Frickety frickin' hell. It was funny during the live stream seeing Jonathan in real time going over how hard to nerf Hammer of the Gods. Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting change they've made. Like I'm not against it. I think this whole conditional thing is really cool. It's just they just have to get it right, and it's just going to take probably multiple attempts. Yeah, so that's exactly right, Left Wrist. Like this is the last thing I kind of want to end the stream on is like figuring out this last piece of like how do we stun stuff regularly? How do we just get loads of stun all the time? I don't know. Bone Shatter? Leap Slam? Leap Slam? Leap Slam? Space? Because it got a nice buff. It got a nice buff. And now it can do stuns. Yeah. Or a fast hitting skill that can build up fast. Yeah, I don't know why either. I think the only thing I can say is I was playing with Felix from the Discord group quite a bit. And his first build was a Titan. And he was just doing like Leap Slam Bone Shatter for most of it. And if we ever played together in like a increased ailment threshold map, it was like, or increased stun threshold or whatever it was, or more monster life, you know, it was like useless. He couldn't then get his combo off, and he basically couldn't, so we basically couldn't play together. Hmm. What are we saying? What do we reckon? So Leap Slam's one option. With stun? Heft? No, because this is the problem. We just want stun stuff, don't we? I'll look up the stun gems. Support gems. We might have to do overwhelming presence as a spirit reservation, because that's going to help us with our ignites as well, right? Yeah, let's do that. Overwhelming presence. Time of need. Yeah, they're both lightweight. We're gonna want Herald of Ash. Herald of Ash got buffed as well. This is what's kind of like making me go, oh, okay. There's a lot of things here that are like making this kind of potentially good. We'll figure out the freaking things later on. So we want Ruthless, Impact Shockwave. Okay, so Impact Shockwave is probably going to be one, I think. Would Shield Wall Shotgun enough, I wonder? Yeah. I don't know. That will give us something, though. So it's like, you know, we could like leap slam into a pack, shield wall, like maybe for like bosses and rares, we can be shield walling to try and build up stun threshold. It's like a whole new thing because I just impact. What? Oh, is that not in the game anymore? What's melee strikes? Ah, damn it, strike skills. That's why. Ah, okay, overpower. There we go. There's one. Overpower. Yeah, you might be right. Like, shield wall might be enough. Every 5th use of the supported skill causes 500% more stun build-up. So that is going to be... is Leap Slam a travel skill? How does that work with this? Let's just check it on anyway. Why not? Don't know what I just put on, yeah. Aftershock. Yeah, we probably want that on Hammer of the Gods, don't we? When inflicting a heavy stun, has a chance to fully break armor. Okay. Okay. Cannot break armor. Supported attacks causing them to trigger a fight when they fully break an enemy's armor, but it can't break. Oh, the explosion can't break armor. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I think that's good actually. That's actually really solid, right? Because we just leap into the pack and then... Oh, and then break 40% more armor. And we've got the armor break thing. I think Hammer of the Gods will only be needed for like tanky res. Yeah, for sure. So would Curse will... What's the curse for, Lefteris? What's the curse? Or do you mean cry? Yeah, we're definitely going to use Rage Forge on the Hammer of the Gods. We use Heft, Rage Forge, use time, what's the cooldown one? That is the cooldown one. Tremors. Surely that's amazing. It deals 35% less damage, but it has a 30% chance to cause an additional aftershock. No, we don't want that because we want it to be like huge ignites, don't we? Yes, we do. Tremors could be good on something else though. I've got to remember we've got this Solaris thing as well that we're going to be able to use, which will be big. Mobility. Oh no, what's the momentum we want, right? 40% more damage of 2 meters. Oh no, that's not that. It's gone leap slam. Heavy swing. Yeah, easy. It's an easy one. Devastate. Aftershock. Yeah, we want aftershock on there. And then... What's another good one? Okay, so that can't ignite, but it does 30% of damage as extra fire against ignited enemies. Immolate. Hmm. Yeah, we probably want... Because we don't need that to ignite. So I think Immolate would go on the Resonating Shield. Or Magma Barrier or something. No, yeah, go on Resonating Shield. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Ignites inflicted with supported skills. Yeah, I think that's the one. Then we go Momentum, Immolate, Tremors. So Magma Barrier takes... what does Magma Barrier take? Probably Fire Exposure. And then Resonating Shield takes Immolate. And then this is going to take 40% more armor break. No, we get rid of that and put momentum on it. Nice. Okay, I can see how stuff's coming together. It should be the clear skill. Magma Barrier. You reckon? I wonder. Because I'm thinking the freaking explode thing off the spear is going to be the clear skill. Maybe not. More like we add loads of cooldowns to it and make it something that is just like we throw one every now and then. It'd stop us weapon swapping as much. And then we're just using that resonating shield and the magma barrier thing to just keep lifting our shield up. Yeah, because then we've got Hammer of the Gods, Solaris Beam, Space Laser, and we've got those exploding shields. And then if we're using Leap Slam as well, like that's gonna blow the shields up, the spears up, right? To slam. And any slam that we do will blow up the shield wall. As well. So we can always, like for bosses, we can just use the Leap Slam. Okay, cool. I like this. I actually think this isn't like the worst thing ever. Because we're gonna be block capped. We're gonna gain all that damage from having block cap. We're gonna be armor breaking, which is gonna give us endurance charges, which is gonna power our Infernal Cry. We can get some Warcry stuff to get some life regen. We got a ton of life regen there. We have run out of points though. We have massively run out of points. 40% increased damage with Warcries. Warcries have increased area of effect. Warcries have increased effect. This is the thing, we don't even need any of the Warcry nodes, do we? Because they're all just like Warcry speed nodes. I think we could probably just, like... What do we get? Warcry speed. We get 40% Warcry speed just from that. And then the idea is to just get a ton of life regen on the tree. Oh, I don't know if the life regen's even going to be worth it. Might have to spec out of all that stuff. Anyway. Shield nodes on the top left. What shield nodes? These ones. Shield. Yeah. Because we've got what? This is going to cap us like immediately. Recover 20 life when you block. We're gaining fire exposure from there. Man, I do like this though. I think this is kind of cool. I think this is cool. All right, guys, I need to get some sleep. It's 12 o'clock here. But I'm feeling in a good place. Let's save this. This is definitely. Oh, it's definitely interesting to me. I need to look at the numbers on Exploding Spear and the Solaris thing. I'll have a look at them again and figure out if it's going to be something that scales well. But yeah, more top left. I don't know. Oh, you mean all these nodes? No? Shit, these nodes here. Yeah, I don't know. We don't need these. They're so far away, and we're already going to be block capped. We could probably actually take less nodes than we've already got. 6 life gained when you block. 20 life when you block is nice. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good. There's probably going to be some changes that we'd make to this, for sure. Increased chance to inflict ailments. Break 30% increased armor on enemies affected by ailments. That's probably quite good. That's 2 points. That's probably very good as 2 points, actually. For the armor break stuff. And then we can just go explosions. We can scale the explosions, the ignite. Doogie doogie doog. Ignite. Have we got any major ignite nodes that we're missing? Chance to ignite. Anything good next to that we want? Minions, life leech. What? Life leech effects? You can get overleech on the tree. Well, that's mental. We could also get these rage nodes for a ton of stun threshold and just rage generation. And that would be like easy more damage. We'd have permanent uptime on our rage, which would be cool. And then we could use Rage Forge all the time. Anyway, yeah, guys, thank you so much for sticking with me tonight as we figure all this stuff out. Obviously, we will not know until, like, you know, the countdown is nearly finished and then we get to the character screen and decide then. But yeah, if you want to join the Discord, do. We've probably got a couple more spots in the group self-found thing. So if you want to do that, that's going to be like a fun little thing we're going to try. But apart from that, obviously, if you're not already, like, follow me and then, yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel and stuff. We're going to be putting out a video tomorrow about SSF, and then we'll probably put a video out about these builds that we've done tonight quickly. So, yeah, good luck getting your league starters ready and stuff. It sounds like you got some good ideas. I'm actually really interested in what Guitar was saying about the physical spell Spectre stuff. There's just so much to do. There's so much interesting options here now. So, yeah, very excited. Good luck, guys. I'll see you. I don't know what time it is for you guys, but yeah, good luck, and I'll see you tomorrow-ish. Yeah, nice to see you, Maple, man. I'm glad you stopped by. Yeah, I don't know. It's Friday. It's actually officially Friday, so fizz spells and minions and/or minions, but I'm stretching too thin. Yeah, classic, stretching too thin. Trying to make everything happen is kind of like me here, I think, a bit. But yeah, we'll figure it out. Much love. Thank you for watching as always. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Exciting. Get some sleep. Oh, actually, should we? I don't know how many people we've got. I always forget to raid. And then I'm like, oh, we've got 9 people here right now. We could just, like, we could raid someone. Why not? Why the hell not? Who is somebody who's playing PoE 2? Do I know any of these people? I actually don't know any of. I don't know any of these names. I wonder how many people there are that play PoE like on Twitch but don't make YouTube content. So I don't know any of these people. So let me look at what? Same category. There we go. Make sure everyone's in the same category. Monk, Amazon starter, bow supremacy. Who is? Okay, should we just pick someone at random? Do you guys? Wait, I'll bring it over here. Do you guys know any of these people? Is Try on? I can't see whether Try's on or not. Oh, does it have to be talkative? Oh, he is. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's do that.
Nerf. Oh my god. Minion pack now causes.
All right, guys.
skills to
Thank you
deal
so much. I'll
5%
I'll
maximum
jump in the
life
raid
gain
with you for a
on
minute, but yeah,
use to deal
get some
30%
sleep,
more
like I
damage,
said.
Previously 40%. Oh, minions 100% dead. Gazzy. Gotta watch out for Gazzy. Make sure he's okay. Pierce now causes projectiles from supported skills to deal 20% less damage if they pierced an enemy previously 30%. It's getting a lot of buffs, people. Also, projectiles are getting buffs. I wonder if it's because the Amazon. Oh, here you go.
The ancestors
Here you
will
go.
remember your
Here-
actions.
Yo. What ancestors will remember? What's Haku saying? Yo, Silver XYZ with the raid. Silver man. Thank you so much, man. How you doing? Oh, hashtag shout out at Silver XYZ. Is that how I do it? Ah, I did it right. Go check out Silver XYZ. Love the guy. What are your thoughts on everything, Silver? I haven't seen them yet. Appreciate the raid, man. Hey, mate, going to try to get some sleep finally. I will see you tomorrow for login day. What was I gonna say? Oh, you guys ready for conspiracy theory time? All the projectile stuff isn't being touched because all the MTX and the mystery boxes are going to be spear MTX. And they want people to buy those new mystery boxes. Oh, I'm just kidding. Kinda. No, actually not kidding. Kinda. I'm half on that. That is a big tinfoil hat theory, okay? There's no basis in that. We'll see, though. 2 build ideas we just worked on. Poison Lightning Chonk. Oh, baby. Flame Spear Warbringer. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. That's pretty awesome, man. Which one are you leaning toward? YouTube chat, for some reason, is not appearing in my stream chat, and it's making me mad. Okay, back to patch notes. Chonk for life. Let's go, baby. Gotta play that chonk. Okay, Stomping... Okay, where is it? Soul Thief now has leech 8% of his attack damage from supported skills as mana, previously 5. Buff. Stomping Grounds triggered shockwaves now have a base critical hit chance of 5. Swift Affliction now causes supported skills to deal 30% more non-amlin damage over time, previously 35%. That's a 5% nerf to dots. Oh, that's awesome. You're doing group SF? Very cool, dude. Okay. Look at it. See, patch notes, you know, pretty good. Pretty good. We'll bring YouTube back on because YouTube, I can't why is your pain over, Vladis? What's happening, dude? You okay? What's wrong, Vladis? Okay. 19 hours to go. All right, guys. I just cut an hour working on the game again and again and just finished for the day. Nice. All right. Yeah, my multi-stream, I can't see the YouTube chat in it. I can only see the YouTube chat on top of my screen. So, oh, the PC update is up? Really? Oh. Well, dang. Interesting. I don't see anything. Let's see. Thank you, Silver. Yeah, I will get some sleep tonight, hopefully. Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything yet. Okay, let's see. Anything else on the tubes? I don't see anything yet. Is there anything here? Okay. Silver, it says you're still live on YouTube, by the way. I see my own stream.
Ah, oh yeah, I forget that it's
Your PS5 just downloaded. Oh, log in. Heck yeah.
Wait there, let me just double check on the
That's
YouTube.
bigly. That's very bigly.
Right, if you're watching on YouTube, sorry for the delay in stopping the stream, but yeah, hopefully you could hear